2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
We need more white guys giving their insight on things they don't understand.
Podwood forecast.
Nothing beats that millennial depression like crisp Pepsi. You're watching Jason slam a woman against a tree.
For context, we're talking about Jason from Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, I probably should clarify.
So the ABC song.
I think it's like Now I Wonder What You Are.
Yeah, it is. It is the
Same melody.
same melody. Yeah, I remember noticing that as a kid and feeling smart.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
I didn't notice it. Someone
Plagiarism.
told me, and I was like, oh my God.
yeah, wow.
Crazy.
Well,
Hi.
hello everybody. Welcome to
Hello.
our iceberg explained, our podcast iceberg.
The Star Wars
Explained.
prequels Iceberg Explained. It's a 7-hour video,
for 3 movies.
literally.
Yeah. Well, welcome everyone to the Podwood forecast.
Well, it wouldn't even be 3 movies anymore. Now it'd be 3 movies, 3 animated shows, 5 other live-action Disney Plus shows.
Do those all now like
Everything is, there's so much. Like,
it's all prequels now?
I mean, a lot of it might as well be. I know, like, the Rebels stuff was, like, in between. So if it takes place before Episode 4, then it's prequel. But I don't know.
care.
There's just too much.
It's too much Star
The only
Wars.
prequels-related stuff that's good. Well,
Better Call Saul.
the Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
But no, for Star Wars, I mean, I like the prequel Star Wars movies, but the only thing outside of those that I actually like is the original cartoon that was made by the Samurai Jack.
Oh yeah, Clone Wars.
Yeah, that was really good.
that
and
was
then
pretty cool.
The Clone Wars like 3D animated show is pretty good too. That's where Ahsoka came from.
Osaka. That's
But,
I thought that's what her name was, honestly.
Oh really?
Because I've never watched
That's
it.
an understandable mistake.
Osaka.
But some of the I mean, that show starts out really bad. I never finished it. I want to at some point. I don't like love it that much or anything, but it's good. And the people who made Last Airbender worked on it a lot. Like
Ooh.
later on, they like basically saved the show from not sucking. So
Of course they did. Because
but it's a good show. I want to finish it, but it's the only. Other than that, I don't really care about Star Wars.
Right. That's for Osaka, you said? Yeah. I heard that one of the episodes had a Narnia reference in the title.
Really?
Yeah, it
That's
was
weird.
like...
No, you want to know? I saw a clip. They literally have one of the characters say a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and I wanted to shoot someone.
What?
'Cause he's like talking about these old tales, and he starts reading it, and the episode ends with him going, "A long time ago." In a I'm just like, don't do that.
Why?
No. I can't
This
imagine.
is why I don't like Star Wars.
Look, I don't like Star Wars anymore, but I don't like hate it that much to want to sit down and watch all of them just so I can tell people how bad it was. I'm like, I get it's bad from the clips I've seen.
Yeah.
Maybe it's fine. I don't know. They're probably fine. But I just, it's like I feel like people sit down and watch all of these 50 shows that exist now and they don't like any of them, and I'm like, dude, just move on.
Yeah, they keep
I'm like,
watching
you don't need to do this to yourself.
Yeah, that's why I stopped.
I'm like, people like it, that's chill, but like, I'm like, how can people that actively hate all these
Just
shows keep? I don't even
Daddy
think they
chill.
I don't even think they are watching them. I think they're just seeing clips online and then like telling people they watched it.
Oh,
Like,
I mean, sure, there's a lot of people
that's
like
probably
that.
most of it. I'm like, the people who are actually watching all of this probably like it and are normal.
Yeah.
But
Most of us
like, it's
are
fine to
normal.
like it, but I don't know.
Anyways, speaking of Star Wars, so
Let's talk about The Last Jedi. What an interesting movie.
yeah, that's our
No.
topic.
I
No,
like it.
actually, that's the twist. I mean, you guys already know this is going to be an episode about nothing, and it's a show about everything and anything.
This is the Seinfeld.
but mainly nothing.
This is the Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, pretty
Like,
much.
this is the episode about nothing.
Because we turned 50. Me and Mitchell are
Yeah.
50 years old, and we're celebrating 50 million subscribers
Yeah.
on Podwood Forecast. No, this is actually just our 50th episode.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do something special because even though for a lot of podcast shows, episode 50 is not a big deal, but it's a big deal for us since we do an episode like on average 1 a month.
Yeah.
On average.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a little bit more space in between.
Sometimes we'll get a couple more. There'll be even more space.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all comes together.
I
to
mean, we've
average out.
literally been doing this since 2019.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Not counting the first 2 lost episodes that
Yeah,
we
I
did
mean,
in
yeah,
like
we started it
2017.
and started it in the old Red Low.
Yeah.
That's where it began.
Wow, time has changed.
Yeah.
And now we're in a red attic.
Yeah, the Red Attic.
We're in the red high.
The Red High.
Dude.
Sounds like a drug.
That's
Got some
what
red
I'm
high.
calling this room from now on.
The Red High. It's
the
more
red
orange.
high. No,
The Orange High.
you're orange.
Sky High.
It's that's a good movie.
Yeah.
So anyways, we decided for something special to do is just to kind of aimlessly talk about whatever.
Yeah, we're good at talking. We chit chat a lot, and we're just gonna have a very casual episode with probably a dozen or so topics.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like nothing. Like we're just gonna be, how's
Right.
your day? How's the weather? Like it's just gonna be a little random episode, and we'll talk about various topics.
Yeah, we'll see.
randomly, and it's not super planned or
We'll
whatever.
see
We'll
how
see how it
this goes and how long we can keep it up.
Yeah.
Which, granted, even on the episodes where we do have something specific to talk about,
Let me sidetrack.
oftentimes we talk about something entirely different for
Yeah.
like 20 minutes.
So this is just that as a whole episode,
Right,
essentially.
yeah. We're getting it out of our system.
Yeah. Like we
And,
were already talking about stuff before, and I was like, "Wait, stop talking," because I would actually bring that up on the episode. So we already preemptively
Stop.
got into it. So
Yeah. We
that's just how we are.
yeah. It's what we do. What we do is go back.
Like that is actually a good segue.
Oh, is it?
A topic I was thinking of because I've been thinking about it lately. I've been listening to. When I'm bored at work, I'll like listen to YouTube videos, and I kind of randomly like stumbled across this channel. It's not like it's sort of down the rabbit hole like, except they almost exclusively talk about YouTubers. I don't.
Okay.
It's not really my kind of content. Like I didn't subscribe to it because I'm not really super.
I'm good. We're good.
I thought there was a bug or something. 'Cause I'm not super into like
Stop falling things.
drama on YouTube, like because that's what a lot of it is. But he had some
Sure.
videos on some people that I like knew about, like the rise and fall of this YouTuber.
Is it Jay Aubrey?
No, it's like
Oh, okay.
June something.
Okay.
Let me look actually real quick. I should name
Unless
him.
they changed their name, because I used to watch Jay
June
Aubrey.
the King.
Okay, I'm not.
It's
familiar.
very like it's honestly like it's pretty surface level content, like and not in an insulting way, but he goes about it very neutrally, and it's just kind of a documentation of like, it's kind of like the down the rabbit hole,
Right, yeah.
It's like
I
the
love Down the
episodes
Rabbit
on
Hole.
like Dark Side Phil or like the episodes he did on YouTubers. It's basically a channel that does that, but exclusively about like internet personalities.
Yeah, because I used to watch Jay Aubrey, and then it just kind of became a little bit too like drama llama,
Yeah.
and just like I'm going to tell exactly what I think about this person,
Right.
and it's just got tiring.
And that's and I just need something to listen to at work, and these were like long videos, and so he's done a lot of videos on people I've never heard of, and some stuff like the history of Jake Paul, which I'm like, I don't care.
Who's Jake Paul?
I don't know, but he'll do like the rise, like the whole story of Tobuscus or the whole nostalgia critic.
Yeah, see,
like,
Jay
he
Aubrey
goes-
did a Tobuscus video
Yeah.
too, so that's why.
and he just goes about it. He's just like, here's what happened, and he's not being biased. It's kind of interesting to be like, this is like what happens to this person, and he goes from like their literal beginning until like where they are now. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was kind of listening to that, and it just got me because there's some like older like YouTuber creators he's like talked about, and it was just got me thinking about how interesting YouTube has become in terms of how permeant of a medium it has been since I was like a kid.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
wow, I've been watching like YouTubers like since I was a kid, and
Yeah.
it's kind of weird to think about which YouTubers did I start out watching? Like, who were the first YouTubers I watched, and how did that evolve, and who do I watch now? And it's kind of weird to think that certain YouTube videos are nostalgic, even though it's just videos like some random person made. It's not like a movie or a TV show.
Right.
Just got me thinking. I was like, this is kind of interesting. So that's why I brought up that guy, because he talked about older stuff, and it made me think about that. But
yeah, it makes you.
he
think
talks so
back.
much about like the early 2000s, 2010s era of YouTube.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's like listening to him like talk about it on a lot of those videos is very nostalgic.
Right. Here comes
Watson.
the dog. Right on cue.
Pointy ears.
Hey, Watson.
Hey, buddy.
Interrupting our show like usual.
But yeah, it was so I was kind of thinking, and this is sort of the topic
Hey, buddy.
that I was thinking of. I was like, oh, that'd be fun to talk about.
Okay.
It's like, what are the first YouTubers that you ever watched?
Ooh.
If you can remember, or what YouTubers.
Oh, I can absolutely remember.
Yeah, what are like the first YouTube videos you watched? Who are the first like YouTubers you started like paying attention to? Like, oh, I need to subscribe and watch all their stuff.
Yeah.
And like, how did your taste in YouTubers evolve, and like kind of who do you watch now?
Okay.
You know, so,
that's so interesting because like
I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, like my YouTuber journey is like it's kind of
you've come so far.
It seems dumb and silly, but I'm like, it's kind of
no, honestly,
interesting, like who I used to watch compared to now and all that.
I have often had this idea, like, what if we did an episode? But I don't think it's like worthy of being like a full episode. But I was like, what if we like shared like our favorite YouTubers, like our top 10 favorite YouTubers?
Yeah,
I think this is like the perfect opportunity to do that.
Yeah,
I think. Because like I don't think anyone wants to watch just a full episode dedicated to that.
I mean, I wouldn't like go to. I mean, do we want to mention our? No, we'll wait. We'll save our favorites.
No, yeah, I'm not saying like and I'm not even saying
I have like
that
a
we share our
few,
top
yeah.
10. But like, yeah, we don't really ever get to talk about because like that's a medium of entertainment that's important to us. You know, even like alongside movies and video games and such. And I was just kind of thinking as you were talking, like us consuming YouTube and following YouTube personalities, that's a very unique thing for our generation. I feel like because I feel like younger people. Oh, you got scared there. Younger people don't really follow YouTubers; they follow like TikTokers and such.
Yeah.
So I feel like
a lot. There's still like a YouTube presence there, but it is very different. It's more split
different
now rather than YouTube being like the only thing.
And I guess there's like Mr. Beast.
And like Twitch streamers, that's like way more permeant now than it ever used to be.
Yeah. But I still feel like even Twitch is still very.
That's still very much like our age.
Yeah, which is interesting because it is newer
Twitch
than
streamers
YouTuber.
and YouTubers are very like. If you're into one, you probably have some of the other that you also follow.
Yeah.
I'm not as big into Twitch, but I have a few Twitch streamers that I like follow pretty semi-religiously. Like there's like probably 3 that I'm like I'll pay attention to them. You know,
Watson, you need to stop doing naughty things while we're recording.
Stop pumping the pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't hump me. Get away.
He's like, ooh.
No.
If you're volunteering.
Anyways, let's.
Yeah. So
I guess I'll name like the first ones so we'll just kind of go back and forth.
Yeah.
So the first people I'm pretty sure I don't have a super strong memory because I could have just seen a random YouTube video, like a joke video by some random person, like as my first YouTube video, and just it wasn't like a noteworthy memory, so it didn't stick with me. So, but the first things I remember watching like vividly is Smosh, like the really early Smosh. Like
that's funny because they're back now.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting to me because I was like, it's kind of cool to see that, even though like I don't think their new stuff's like that funny personally, but I think it's really cool that they're back together and stuff.
So you write any person's name in that thing and they die?
Of suffocation.
Like they suffocate themselves?
Yeah, in any way possible, I guess.
I thought it was impossible to suffocate yourself.
Yeah, why don't you prove it? Write my name in there.
Okay. All right, Peter, what's your last name?
Peter.
No, your last name.
Peter.
So your full name is Peter?
My parents were crack addicts.
But it's like they don't make the kind of stuff I'm interested in anymore. But I think it's really cool that they like got the company back after all that, because they were
them.
like, I was super into them early on, and the first video I remember by them watching was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, where it's just them like. It's almost like a TikTok, ironically enough. It's just them like lip syncing to like the TMNT theme song and like.
When they were like super young.
Yeah, it was like when they were in like Anthony's bedroom or something. And they like throw a CD into a sewer and they crawl into it and then they come out, and it's just like it's such like a just friends with a camera in like their room and backyard. It was like really early, like their first videos.
Right.
So it was Smosh, and I later on got into stuff like Angry Video Game Nerd, like everyone else, and like some of the. I didn't watch Nostalgia Critic, but I did watch Angry Joe for a while.
Oh,
he was kind of
gosh.
associated with Channel Awesome, but so I got into like more of those people early on. But the first gaming YouTuber I watched was Irate Gamer.
Super Smash Bros. Brawl. If you enjoyed playing Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube, then this game will leave you speechless. It's pretty much the same great game, but with tons of new features and characters thrown into the mix. And who doesn't love the idea of picking your favorite Nintendo character and then beating the living shit out of your opponent?
And you have probably never heard of him.
No, I don't.
But if people know about him, he was infamously known as like just a huge AVGN ripoff, and people really don't like him, and he's kind of like joked on and stuff. I don't know if he's like a bad dude.
But he like reviewed games like AVGN?
Yeah,
Okay,
he was just like
gotcha.
an AVGN ripoff.
Okay,
kinda.
I thought you were saying that he was like a gaming channel, like where
No. He did like
gaming.
AVGN type stuff where he would like
Gotcha.
review an old game and be really angry, like the irate gamer. Like
Right,
he's
yeah.
irate. He's not angry. He's irate.
And he rates video games.
And his video on like the Rob machine and the NES Rob robot thing. And like something else. He was like I think the first like gaming review type YouTuber I watched, which is really funny because like no one really likes him. I feel like he's harmless. He's just kind of a ripoff, but I don't think he's like a bad dude or anything. But
people used to give like YouTubers so much crap for being influenced by other people's styles.
Yeah, especially early on, it was like if you were even like, I mean, he is like a huge.
Sure, yeah.
But it's like people are way too sensitive about it. It's like whatever.
There were a lot of
people have fun.
I found this video.
Like, I feel like people kind of bullied the dude. Like,
right,
for no
yeah.
reason.
And I found this. I came across this video on YouTube where it was just like just a whole list of AVGN ripoffs.
Yeah,
there were a lot of them.
I mean, yeah, AVGN. I mean, I figured out about AVGN because of Irate Gamer, because someone commented and was like, AVGN is way better, and they like, linked his video, and that's how I found him.
Right, yeah.
'Cause I found AVGN from people making fun of Irate Gamer. I didn't like watch him and was like, oh my god, he's the best. But I remember I was getting into older retro games. I think I just went on YouTube and looked up like retro games or something, and one of his videos like popped up, and I was like, oh yeah, I know what that game is, and I just clicked on it, and that's how I found him. So yeah, early Smosh, Irate Gamer. And for movie specific stuff, Jeremy Johns was the first guy I
really
like,
way back then.
Yeah, like his really early stuff.
Okay.
The Dark Knight, I think, is the greatest superhero movie ever made. They did my favorite character ever justice. They did him perfectly. And The Dark Knight, of course, is awesome-tacular.
Yeah, so I watched him back in the day. So those were kind of like, it was Smosh first, and then I found Irate Gamer, and then I got into movie YouTube stuff because of Jeremy Johns, like way
Interesting.
back, like his like all very early stuff. Because I forgot he's been around a long time too, and he has like not changed his format at all in like 20 years. It's really funny. But yeah, so those are. So I guess the steps there is people just sharing Smosh videos, and that's how I found out about YouTube.
Yeah.
And then when I learned about YouTube, I started searching stuff and found like gaming and movie specific stuff, and then that's where that. So those are like the first people I remember like kind of following,
right?
Like
yeah.
specifically,
nice.
Not just like watching videos in general, but like accounts I wanted to subscribe to.
Right. It's funny because like some of those that you mentioned, I didn't really get into or wasn't really even aware of until I was a little bit older.
Yeah.
Like I guess I was aware of AVGN, but
Yeah,
I didn't
AVGN
know that he was like as big as he was.
Oh, he
at
was
the time,
huge. He
and very influential.
He was incredibly influential.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched his stuff in forever. I feel like it holds up better than most content of that time, of that nature.
He's still kind of got the same feel,
yeah,
sort of, but
I mean,
it's charming.
His stuff, yeah, I feel like it has aged a little better, and
he's also got like other like shows that he does on his channel with like all of his other friends, where they just kind of talk about stuff.
Yeah, but
as far as I know, I don't watch him really, but
right.
I was more of a. This isn't really a part of my list, really, but...
Sorry, one more thing I want to mention is, just real quick, is Live Lava Live, too.
Oh, dude!
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing.
Live Lava Live was another one of the earliest people I remember getting into.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that Live Lava Live, I mean, I guess I can segue into that. Live Lava Live was like the first vlogging channel that I ever knew.
Hi, hello, this is Mr. Davis, and right now if you're watching this, that means that somebody loves you. Now, these aren't my words. I don't know you. I've never even, Hi, I'm Mitchell. So without further ado, here is their love through me to you. Right now. Okay, go.
Yeah, I guess that covers my basis is like gaming, movies, vlog, comedy, sketch, and whatever.
Yeah. I don't even remember how I came across Live Lava Live. My friend Cedric might have introduced me to him, actually. But...
I found him because I don't think I found him on my... I can't remember if I found him on my own and showed... I'm pretty sure my friend at school... I was hanging out at their house with a couple other people, and someone brought up Live Lava Live, and we all watched it together, and then it just became a thing. Like me and this friend would watch Live Lava Live really often. Yeah,
for those of you who don't know, it's kind of crazy because like no one remembers Live Lava Live.
He was never like huge. I mean, he had his era where he was getting like a lot of views and stuff, but when you think of original, like people will quote people like Jack's Films as like an OG YouTuber, or Smosh, or I don't know, probably some other people I'm blanking out on right now, but no one ever really thinks of Live Lava Live as like a staple of that era. Like I've never hear him mentioned ever. It's probably because he's just not very on like active now.
He like that's the thing, is that he's still like active on his channel every once in a while, but he does not do the same kind of content that he does.
Just like an art channel for him. He just kind of he's not using it as like a way to make money. It's just a thing for like him, which I respect. I feel like I'm assuming he has like graphic design jobs and makes money doing other things. But...
I'm not sure. I think he was like doing some filming as well. But Live Lava Live was such an interesting channel, especially with his friend Kyle. Yeah, like that was like the peak, I feel like, of their content. Just
the last time I checked in on his channel or something, I feel, or any social media, maybe it was Twitter, I can't remember, but I remember like within the last few years, I remember him mentioning how he like people kept bugging him about like Kyle, and how he had tried to like get in contact with Kyle, but he like wasn't interested in talking to him or something. It just kind of made me. I don't think it was like a dramatic thing. It was just like they just don't really talk anure, and he like kind of tried to reach out.
I don't even really know what happened.
Passive. I don't think anything really happened. I think they just kind of drifted apart. Like he just got his own life. I don't think there was a huge drama, but he was like, yeah, I kind of hit him up, and nothing really happened. It kind of just made me sad.
That's too bad. Yeah, I hope Mitchell is okay.
Yeah.
Other Mitchell
Davis.
Yeah, I guess we didn't even say his real name.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I don't know if he. I think his channel's still called Live Lava Live. I don't remember.
I think it's just Mitchell Davis now, actually.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. But that was I feel like, because he was around the time when like Shane Dawson was pretty popular.
Yeah,
with his vlogs.
He was like one of the first like smash cut comedy type videos. Like
like the
story
editing
time,
style.
Owen Rogers stuff,
which is so weird to think, but like
it's him in front of a camera like talking.
Yeah,
I found out about OK Go because of him, because one of his videos he was like, "Ooh, OK Go has a new album coming out." And it was the Blue
he always
Sky.
has some pretty good taste in music.
I just wanted to copy him, so I like looked it up.
Live,
and I just remember always being like, I wish I had his hair. And I was like jealous.
That emo look.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was cool. He was always like Like, I would watch him and be like, I wish I was as charismatic as he is.
Yeah.
But it turns out, like, in real life, he was, like, actually really shy in, like, social settings. Like,
That's
he would
usually
talk
the story,
about that.
right? Is like a lot of YouTubers are, like, super quiet or, like,
Yeah.
have social anxiety in real life.
Us creative folk.
Yeah, we struggle, dude.
Yeah. But, yeah, Live Lava Live was one of the first channels I really got into.
Yeah.
I think I just discovered him by accident. The first channel... And I'm pretty sure one of their videos was like the first video I ever saw on YouTube. And it was like the first thing where I was like, oh, wow, what is this YouTube? You know, was actually Balloon Shop.
Try Memory X. It will improve your memory. And don't forget, I cannot remember these lines.
Let's just do scene 2.
Shut your mouth, Jerry. I got this.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And I feel like Balloon Shop is another one of those channels like Live Lava Live that was like pretty big at the time, but hardly anyone talks about it anymore.
Yeah. It's like there's some channels like that were just huge.
But every
like,
once in a while, though,
out.
I'll come across people who remember Balloon Shop.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, whatever happened to those guys, you know? Yeah, they were my first love on YouTube. And like my first in on like sketch comedy on YouTube, and every once in a while I'll still like put on one of their videos because it's like I watch it and it's like, wow, that was like such a time.
Yeah.
And they were actually very influential for me. Like, they inspired me to to make the first video I ever did for YouTube.
Yeah.
And you watch it and it
makes sense.
It's basically an exact like ripoff of,
Yeah.
of Balloon Shop comedy style. Like, it's basically just a ripoff of their Memory X video, which was the first video I saw of them. Yeah, I always loved Balloon Shop. I know because there was 3 guys. I know I don't think there's one of them that they don't really talk to, but like Olin Rogers, you know, he started his own channel.
Yeah.
And I guess he would also count as like one of the early channels I got into because of Balloon Shop. He got really popular because of his Ghost in the Stalls video.
Yeah.
It was like 10 million
That was
views
that
on
was
it.
the first thing I saw from him because my sister sent it, like showed it to us one day.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and now he's like, since then he's been making like cartoon shows. He had a show Final Space that was on like Adult Swim.
Yeah.
It got canceled though, but he's still working on stuff, and he's like working on animation, like animated shows and such, and it's like really cool. You and I got to meet him actually. I forgot.
Yeah, we did.
We saw him live, and like that was super special.
Yeah, it was
for
a good
me.
show. It was fun.
Yeah, because like he's just been very inspirational to me in terms of like me pursuing my creative pursuits. So yeah, Olin Rogers. Another big one for me was Julian Smith.
Hey Donovan, you got anything to drink?
Yeah, in the fridge.
Hey Josh, grab me a glass of milk.
They don't have any milk, but I can get you some milk.
That's what he just said.
Yeah, I just want some milk.
No, you're saying it wrong. You're saying milk, like it's a disease.
How do you say it?
I'm saying it the way everyone ought to say it. Milk, M-I-L-K.
Right, like 2%.
Right, whole milk.
No. Say milkshake.
Milkshake.
Okay, now say milk.
Milk.
Are you hearing this?
Yeah. The man wants a glass of milk.
Milk?
Give him the milk, Josh!
Donovan, inside voices, please.
Sorry, Dad. My white friends.
Yeah, me and my sister definitely, like, we found Julian Smith and watched a ton of those videos, like all the hot Kool-Aid and all that, that whole era.
Yeah. I
remember the point where like people started feeling like they didn't like his sketches that much. Like, I remember, I don't know why I have a memory when I don't even think it was that bad, but it was what video is it? I think it was a song, like,
he's got a lot of songs.
I'm like hot something. No, not hot Kool-Aid. Sorry, no, not hot Kool-Aid. It's like I'm feeling something. I can't remember what it is.
I'm feeling.
It's like a song.
There's I think Jellyfish was his first big one.
It has like a name in it.
A name.
What's the title?
Eat Randy.
Yeah, Eat Randy.
Oh, that's.
I remember when
I'd
that
rather
one,
eat Randy.
Yeah, I feel like that video came out, and I remember a lot of people feeling like, yeah, he's kind of falling off. Like that one's not that funny.
I always loved that video.
Yeah, I just remember that era, and then like another one came out, and then I remember he put out like another video, and people like were like, oh, this one's really good, and then I just remember that feeling of like everyone being like a little disappointed and like his humor after a while, and then he just kind of like stopped uploading.
Well, like he would like disappear for a while, like off and on, and I feel like when he would like leave, he would like hype up expectations for like whenever he went back, and then people would be like, I don't know.
I remember my friend and I, like, he put out a new video and we watched it, and I remember I kind of thought it was funny. My friend was like, oh, his stuff's just not good anymore.
You're not
and
good
I was
anymore.
like, I wonder, I think that was I don't think it obviously wasn't like a huge, that wasn't like the majority, because I don't think any of those videos had a ton of dislikes or anything, but I wonder if there definitely got the vibe there was a sect of people that were like, he's falling off, man. He's selling out.
I guess you'll all like YouTubers
Everyone
will
always
always
gets like
have that.
Yeah.
Like Game Grumps apparently have been in their dark ages for 10 years, according to some people.
They're in the age. Granted, I haven't watched them in a long time.
Game Grumps?
I admittedly fell off of them a while ago. I don't dislike them. I don't keep up with them really anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Just because like, I just feel like
I remember
Let's
when
Plays aren't really the content. It's not the content I watch much anymore.
I remember when we first met, they were like one of the things we bonded over.
I was like obsessed with them. Like when I was there like when they started. Like I remember when they announced that, and I was like, whoa, that's such a crazy collab. And I remember the Sonic 06 playthrough came out, and there was I think it was the thing that really like set that channel on fire, where the Sonic 06 thing where the glitch happens and Aaron has his like first huge freak out. It's like obviously he's like playing it up, but I remember I thought it was so funny, and I was like showing everyone at school.
Yeah, that was like one of their first big moments.
Yeah, so it's like I remember that, but I feel like Game Grumps, they're not in like a dark era. I just feel like they're in the era where they are not being spread around like by an algorithm or anything. They just have their fan base, and they're just contained in their own place of the internet. Because I don't ever see stuff recommended for them. I never see anyone talk about them. But you go and check on the channel, and it's like, it still looks like they're doing well.
Yeah,
because they have such a big fan base. So it's like they're just contained in their own area.
Yeah, even Aaron.
That's chill.
Yeah, and even Aaron was saying, because he was recently on Cold Ones.
Oh, nice.
Which was a really fun episode. But even he said on the episode, he's like, yeah, I think we're just at the point where we're not really growing anymore.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
You know? So
like, yeah, it just seems like that they're like plateauing, but it's not like they're dying. They have a fan base that's really dedicated, and they're in their own
I'm a part of it.
Because like Let's Plays really like aren't like, it's not a prioritized format on YouTube much anymore.
Right, yeah.
So it's just weird because YouTube's always like changing like what gets recommended to people. But yeah, I don't see people really do Let's Plays anymore, and it's personally not
it's
a
mostly
format
just
I'm interested in really.
Gaming is pretty much just for streaming now these days.
It's like the gaming culture on YouTube now is about like reviews or video essays or uploading like huge streams that are like hours long, you know, or streaming in general. But yeah,
I agree.
But yeah, I remember getting into Game Grumps like way early in the day because I knew about Ego Raptor, and I watched his all of his sequelitis videos. And I remember I'll never forget when his Zelda one came out, and just how dramatic that was for people that he didn't like Ocarina of Time. And I think Ocarina of Time is one of the best games of all time, but like people were like,
oh yeah,
people wanted to kill that guy. Dude, like people were mad.
They were very mad.
And granted, I didn't think his criticisms were that interesting, but I wasn't like offended over it. It's like, whatever, he can have a bad take about a video game, it's fine.
Right, yeah. I mean, I had really no skin in the battle, and I've always liked that video. I just watch it and be like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I remember I just watched it. I was like, it's still funny. Like, I don't care. At the time, like, I don't know if I find it like that funny now, but like when it came out, I was like, whatever. It's
there's
fine.
a lot of good quotes in there, especially
I feel like
him.
that his sequelitis stuff was some of the first like gaming critique type content. I really got it because I feel like that's when I noticed like I really liked how he explained why Castlevania 2 wasn't a great sequel, and just or why the intro level to Mega Man X is like a really good game design like tutorial and what works about that. And I remember those were some of the first videos that made me want to start paying attention to
like game
design and how it works. Same way where Jeremy Johns didn't make me critically think at all, but I feel like when I discovered, I got into YMS like really early on, and that was some of the first movie content that made me want to think a little more critically about movies and how they're made. So I feel like you always have like the kind of casual stuff that is like the gateway drug into the more intense stuff that makes you think a little more critically. And then now I'm even I feel like I'm at
a higher plane.
That was like step 2, and I feel like I'm at like step 4 of the kind of content in that realm I watch.
Sure.
Like I went from really casual, just for entertainment, like this movie sucks, I hate it, with like no real critical thought, and I just watched it for fun. Then I found stuff that was like, it's making me think about it, and it's really interesting, but maybe it's still like played for negativity mostly. And then I was like counteracting that by watching stuff that was way too positive and didn't really think critically at all, and was just trying to be more whatever. And now I think I'm at a point where I've found like the people I like and a good balance of like healthy critique, but feeling fair, and I can watch it, and even if I disagree with it, I still really enjoy hearing about it.
Yeah,
stuff like that. But yeah, the ebb and flow of the type of, not even specifically critique. There's channels I watch where it's like they just talk about something, and it goes above critique. It's just more about like experience and just making you think about the medium differently. Not necessarily is this game good or bad, but like what
does this game
represent in its culture at the time, and how. And I mean, I'll get to this later about like my current favorite channel, but I'll get into that later. But yeah, so
sure.
I'm trying to think of any other like kind of early 2010 era. That I was really into.
Before we continue, we should take a break to hear a word from our sponsors. So hope you guys are enjoying this episode. If not, we don't care, and we'll just keep going.
I'm trying to make the whole episode about the YouTubers, but
I mean,
it
whatever.
Could be.
If it does, we don't care.
We didn't plan it. So
we didn't plan
it,
so
yeah,
it is what it is. So we'll just call it the YouTube episode.
Right? Yeah.
All right. Well, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Goodbye.
That's in a soulless crevice in the wall so you can open a door that leads to another room with a locked door and some other silly open sesame trick. Is that fun? Is this what you want? Hey, come on, man. It's not that bad. Shh, Skyward Sword. Seriously, I'm doing like a show. I know, I just figured I'd give my 2 cents. I don't care. Nobody likes you. You took fun and made it unfun. How'd you even do that? Maybe I should go douse for a better game, huh? Hey, man, let's low. So's my interest in playing you again. Oh, shit. Burn! Burn! So I'm just really proud of what I've done today. Plus, I really hate you.
Hey guys, Clifford here. Mitchell isn't here currently, so I'm joined by AI Mitchell, and we wanted to tell you a little story. Isn't that right, AI Mitchell?
That's totally right, my best friend Clifford.
When we started this podcast a few years ago, one of the coolest things was being able to read the reviews that our listeners left us. It was so encouraging and exciting to see the feedback.
Yeah, it was a super cool time.
However, I learned that when you go to Apple Podcasts to look at your reviews, it only shows you reviews from people in your own region. So, like, the only reviews that would show up were people that lived in the U.S.
Wow, that's crazy and kind of silly.
That's when I learned about My Podcast Reviews. They allow you to read reviews from people from anywhere in the world. When I signed us up, I saw reviews from people I had never seen before from different parts of the world. It was so cool to see that people from different countries were enjoying our podcast.
Hello, everyone from Germany.
And so, years later, we have now partnered with My Podcast Reviews and are spreading the word. If you have a podcast, sign up now with our affiliate link in the episode description and sign up for their 7-day free trial.
You'll never miss another review again. Your listeners will love hearing their names and reviews shared in your podcast, and it's so easy for you.
Just add your podcast, or all of them, and they do all the rest. No more checking all 175 Apple Podcast regions and other apps. No more screenshots. They send the reviews to you in text you can easily copy, and with shareable links for every review. Again, go to our affiliate link in the episode description and sign up for My Podcast Reviews today. Anything else to say, AI Mitchell?
I think that you are to say happy for me and the whole family.
Okay, it looks like AI Mitchell is getting a little confused. Gonna have to put him to bed.
Good night at Nick at Night.
I find that hard to believe because, girl,
You
you
can
be
ask
like
her.
you like 5 Nights at Freddy's.
What does that mean?
Okay, that don't. I'm not gonna open up with that.
So who were your middle tier?
Middle tier?
Like, I don't know if that's not the right word to use. Hang on, what's the right word? I was about to say
Mid-tier?
middle age, but that's not right either.
What middle-aged YouTubers?
Who was like your
actually?
what was your midway point in your YouTube experience? Who were you watching in like 10 years ago? Who were you watching?
Oh, okay. Well, actually, speaking of middle-aged people, I got into Rhett and Link.
Oh yeah.
Good Mythical Morning.
I watched them because I remember my my digital media teacher in high school showed us Rhett and Link, and that's how I found out about them.
Yeah.
Good Mythical Morning.
It is not a good mythical morning. It is a bad mythical morning for us.
I am not happy, not one bit.
I actually found out about Rhett and Link because of Julian Smith.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Because they collabed
Yeah.
On a couple videos. And I used to watch them religiously. I watched them before Good Mythical Morning started.
Yeah, I remember when Good Mythical Morning became a thing, and I thought it was boring. And I was like, I miss their sketch stuff.
Actually, I feel like I owe Good Mythical Morning credit for like getting me into podcasts.
Yeah,
like
I respect
podcast
it now.
format.
I think it's a cool format now, but back then, I feel like they were a little ahead of their time.
Yeah,
because I just remember I was like, this is like feels too much like a TV show. I don't like it. I don't know. I just remember I didn't like it. Really.
When Good Mythical Morning started out,
It's like, why would I want to just listen to people talk?
Well, yeah, that's
You know?
kind of how it started out, of them just like talking about stuff, and I loved that. And then Good Mythical Morning kind of more evolved into like, we're gonna do this thing on camera, you know, and which was fine, and I did enjoy it for a time. I don't watch them anymore. Just for kind of like personal reasons. It's just not really my thing. But I loved them. I got into Rhett and Link around when it was actually around when they moved to California. They had this whole video series of their like journey driving all the way to California, and that was fun. It was like a road trip kind of thing.
I was vaguely aware of them, but I feel like I didn't like religiously watch them.
I did. I got really into them. They were one of my probably top 3 favorite channels at the time, honestly. Yeah, I got so inspired by them that actually like me and my friend Matt Martin attempted to have our own like Good Mythical Morning style kind of video series. We only did one and didn't commit to it, obviously.
Have you noticed that YouTube content has gone from heavily edited, heavily performed stuff to like, then it was like AVGN type stuff talking about video games, and then it was Let's Plays, which was just people playing video games and just kind of normally talking over it, to now podcasts, which just removes the video game and it's just people talking.
Right, yeah.
It's like, it's weird how it's, I don't want to say devolved because I like podcasts, I like long form content of people just talking, but I'm like, it's funny how things have gone from heavily performed and edited to like just people talking and then trying to remove, like, it's just gotten a lot simpler almost for a lot of stuff. It's kind of
for certain
interesting.
things, yeah.
Like I feel like people just realized like when Let's Plays started becoming a thing. It was a huge thing with Game Grumps too, because people are like, it's just like a listening to people talk like a podcast,
Yeah.
but they just happen to be playing a game. And then a lot of people were like, what if we just didn't play a game and we just did an actual podcast? And
Yeah.
then people realized that radio is actually cool, but now it's on YouTube.
Right, yeah. Listening to people talk about stuff is cool.
For better or for worse.
Right, yeah.
But because there's a lot of horrible podcasts out there like this one, but
Yeah. but we're one of the better worst
yeah, ours
ones.
is awesome.
We're at least better than some, but
yeah.
You know. Yeah, it's really interesting. Although like with YouTube there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Now we're at the point where it's like if you want to find that heavily edited kind of content, you'll find it.
Yeah,
If you
there's
want
still a lot of really. I mean, there's a bigger variety than ever at this point. It's kind of like it's kind of like music, where people are like music sucks now, but it's like if you look for good music, like your new favorite band is out there somewhere. And I feel like that about YouTube.
Mhm.
It's like it's a lot of I don't know vlogging and podcasts and stuff, but for a while it was like all the Jake Paul, Logan Paul type content that everyone hated, but, or like Minecraft Let's Plays. But it's like if you look deep enough, like you will find something out there that you really like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I don't know, kind of in the mid 2010s, early 2010s, that's when I kind of got more deep into like movie YouTube and got into like the YMS, I Hate Everything, like the Sardanacast people, Ralph, and then I kind of remember the point I dropped off Jeremy Johns because I was just like, I just got really bored of his style. Remember, it was the one time out of curiosity, I checked on his channel. I was like, he's still just doing the same thing, and good for him. He still gets those views. Like, do your thing, bro. But I just remember I like just felt like I completely like became uninterested. I always like thought it was funny that he was like, I hate rating systems, but here's my rating system.
Yeah.
That's just like 5 things, anyways.
I hate this, but I do it in every video.
It's like weird, but yeah. And then there was like a whole sect of. There was probably plenty of other like movie type people I watched, but like the main ones for a while were like YMS and
same.
I'm not like religiously as like up to date on YMS anymore.
He puts out a lot of content.
Yeah,
these days.
But sometimes like I'll kind of check in, but the movie critic YouTube isn't really. I've kind of fallen off of that a little bit too, but I'll like check on it if I feel like it. But that's not like.
Yeah,
very urgent content to me anymore, and all that. But around that time, that's really early, like really early stuff, like early JonTron. I remember like I got really into him when I found him, and he was a big deal, and kind of the whole Normal Boots crowd with like Peanut Butter Gamer and Pro Jared and like Pro Jared and John, people that didn't have controversial futures at all. Nothing happened there. But
Tobuscus.
I never watched Tobuscus. I knew about him, but never watched it.
I watched Tobuscus.
I even watched. I've never really watched PewDiePie, but I did watch him a lot, like in his early Let's Play era when he was doing like horror games and like Dark Souls 1 and stuff. That was the only time I like watched him, because my friend in high school thought would like when we would hang out, he would like put him on. I remember we watched a compilation of him dying in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So I kind of watched him in his Let's Play era and the whole like Amnesia era and whatever.
Good old early.
That was the only time I was
stages.
ever into him. Also, someone who never had any controversies in his future.
No, never.
Literally every YouTuber I watched back then just never had any.
Nothing
never
happened.
got
No
into any
drama.
controversy.
Yeah,
like, it was weird. Literally
it's
none of
cool.
them.
Yeah.
I think
They're
legit
such
like
good
9 out
people.
of 10 of them had horrible controversies. In the future,
Yeah.
but that's just what it is when you're famous.
Yeah. I love. I gotta say, I love PewDiePie. Not really just for like, because when I was younger, I enjoyed his early content, but it's weird because it's like, and I know it's probably a normie. Well, at least it used to be a normie thing to say that, like, oh, I love PewDiePie because he used to be the #1 YouTuber.
I mean, everyone was like obsessed with him.
Right?
I can't remember when I like started. I feel like I don't know. Yeah, I only watched him in his like Let's Play era.
Well,
And after
I
that,
stayed
I
on.
like never really paid attention to him. I mean, obviously, I heard about him a lot, but I never like watched his stuff.
It's just cool because it's almost seem. I mean, it really does seem like for a lot of us PewDiePie fans who like watched him in the early days. It's like he has like matured with the audience, where like now he's like a totally different YouTuber. Like he doesn't really do Let's Plays hardly at all, and he doesn't do daily uploads anymore, and he's now like a father now, and like
he has enough money to like retire. So it's like
yeah, pretty much. He probably would if he really wanted to, because he just doesn't really. I mean, he cares, but it's not like that. It's not like it was before. And now, like, pretty much what he does is that he'll like upload vlogs of him and his wife and his kid now, and it's like super wholesome. And he'll like also do videos with his friend with Cinnamon Toast Ken. I always love those videos.
Yeah, I remember him because I think he did stuff with him in the Let's Play era, and some guy named Cryotic who the guy
Cry
at the beginning
I remember him
when I mentioned the June the King guy. He made a video about him, and I was like, I didn't know stuff happened with him, and I was like, oh, he like had a meltdown. And like,
did he really? I never watched his
he
content.
had like a huge meltdown and had some really awkward stuff go down.
Oh gosh,
does not seem like a chill dude.
I guess
kind of
not.
does not. Like, it was like one part where he was like on his stream like sobbing and like talking about
Cry is crying.
Not like I feel bad. This is awkward, and like he was just doing weird. He was just a weird guy.
Get a hold of yourself, man.
And I was like, oh gosh, like he got into some weird stuff.
You cry about it.
But I mean, it's like the typical thing where it's like,
it's kind of like
it's like they sent nudes to a 16-year-old fan. It's like it's just one of those stories, you know, which is like so many.
Why
YouTubers.
is it always that?
It's literally always that.
I just found
it's like,
out.
Is it not? How hard is it to just like be normal?
Right. Yeah.
You know?
I guess this one isn't about like sending pictures to minors, but like I recently found out about Boy in a Band. Remember him?
Oh, I was gonna mention him because I used to love that guy.
Yeah.
And he would collab with other YouTubers like Rob Scallion and Andrew, who I'm forgetting his full name, but Andrew, he's like another
Tate.
No. God no. No.
That's actually my next favorite YouTuber.
He's another musician YouTuber, and he has a series called like 3 producers, 1 sample or something, and it's.
Oh, I think you showed me him before. Is he like an Asian guy?
Yeah, I'm blanking on his full name, but he's awesome. And so like Boy in a Band was kind of in that circle of like musician YouTubers, and I thought Boy in a Band was awesome. And
then now, I mean, there's just.
And I look back and I'm like, a lot of his stuff is kind of like hard to look back on because I'm like,
it's very edgy.
I used to think that was super cool. Not even edgy. It's just like I don't know.
Like
his critique on like the school system and stuff. I'm like,
that's his big video.
I'm like, that's really like I used to be like, that's so true, bro.
Why
did
send
they
your
teach
kids
me
to
how to
school?
like socialize in school? And I'm like,
I mean, my teachers never taught me that. How to what was that? There's a Jake Paul.
It's funny because I remember being like,
my teachers never taught me that.
I wasn't taught how to get a job, but I can remember dissecting a frog. I wasn't taught how to pay tax, but I know loads about Shakespeare's classics. I was never taught how to vote. They devoted that time to defining isotopes. I wasn't taught how to look after my health, but mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Never spent a lesson on current events. Instead, I studied the old American West. I was never taught what laws there are. I was never taught what laws there are.
It's funny because I remember being all like, yeah, that's right. Why didn't school ever teach me how to do that? But I'm like, wait, no, my school like literally had us for a week learn about how to write checks and stuff. I'm like, my school was, I mean, that's not every school, but I was like, why was I like, yeah, my school sucked, but it didn't. I just wanted to agree with him.
Yeah.
But
well,
I mean, it wasn't awful. It's just aged a little weird, and his whole thing that went down was super weird.
Apparently it's all, as far as I know, it's all just like allegations and nothing's really been proven. But either way, still he's fallen off. He's not really uploading anymore.
No, I'm kind of worried he's like dead or something.
Oh geez.
But yeah, I don't know.
I mostly like got into him like when he started like like all the stuff with iDubbbz, and he did that song with a couple songs with PewDiePie.
And just so many YouTubers get to a point where it's like where stuff starts happening, and then all their content just becomes them like using their camera as a therapist, and then posting like all like they have like 5 videos a week about how they're really depressed and they're on anti-meds and this is the medication. It's like they get way too personal.
Remember Onision?
Yeah, I thank God I never watched him, but I have learned.
I had like a short.
Everything I learned about him was against my will.
I had like a short, tiny like phase with him, but then like I stopped watching him, and then like the next time I heard about him, he was going crazy.
Was that the one where he was like freaking out on camera and screaming and all that? He is probably like, in terms of YouTubers, in terms of what I've heard, like he just seems like the worst person ever. Like absolute psycho.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard so much about that guy.
Speaking of, I mentioned iDubbbz. iDubbbz was another one.
Yeah, I was
really
into all the content cop stuff like everyone else.
If you clicked on this video with the sole intention to watch me lampoon this guy who's been made fun of for the past 3 months, you're going to be sorely disappointed, because this video is not about this obnoxious, arrogant asshole. It's about an entirely different obnoxious, arrogant asshole. Some of you might be pleasantly surprised with who this video is actually about. I'll give you a hint. He's very boastful. He's made a video on me. That's right, everyone. I'm talking about Asian Jake Paul.
Good times. But apparently he disowns a lot of that now.
Yeah, he just privated it. I remember I like watched that stuff, and I was like, I haven't watched him in forever, but I was like, yeah, I mean, if it's not relevant anymore, like whatever, that's your prerogative.
Those videos were so good, though. Like the rice gum one, and such. But yeah, I mean, I guess I haven't watched.
It's
them
like
in a
if I
while
made
either.
stuff when I was like 20, like which is almost like 9 years ago, or 18 and stuff, and it got that popular, and I went through like changes, and I was a little like. I can see maybe being like, I don't know, like I think he privated it and like still has the links available so people can still get to them, but he just doesn't want them circulating.
Didn't YouTube like take it off or something?
I don't think so.
Because it was like technically bullying.
I think one of them got taken down once and then it went back up like a day later. I remember that was
maybe the
thing.
Leafy.
I think it was the Leafy one got taken down, but then like it went back up.
Yeah.
But I watched his like recent video about it, and I was like, whatever. Like I think he was like, I just don't want it circulating in the algorithm, but all the links are still available to like watch them. And I was like, whatever, I get it, whatever.
Yeah. I don't really watch
it would be
his.
if he had like deleted them, that'd be one thing. But I'm like, yeah, that's of a different era. I get it.
It really is. Like iDubbbz, Filthy Frank.
I watched Maximofo early on too, like when he was doing the mail videos in his bedroom at his parents' house. Like I watched all those way back.
Oh,
in the
well,
day.
iDubbbz did mail ones too.
Yeah. I remember I was really into like early Maximofo too when he did all the prank calls and stuff.
Yeah.
That era.
Yeah, and I there's also H3. I can't watch his stuff anymore, honestly.
I stopped watching him. It was pretty early on when the podcast started becoming their main thing, and I just really felt like he was really awkward as a podcaster.
Yeah, that whole thing with Bill Burr.
I think that was the point where I was like, I don't think I can like watch this anymore. It was just so awkward.
It was really bad
and uncomfortable, and
apparently it like brought him deep into depression.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I heard he had him on again, and it went well, and they were like, yeah, it was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
I know he's just more like political now, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, he
not
did
my vibe.
Quite
like,
a switch too, because like I feel like I used to enjoy him because like he was the guy who was like because there was that whole thing with Casey Neistat when he said like I will be voting for Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah,
and H3 and Ethan and Gila were like the ones who were like, hey, it doesn't, we don't really care who you vote for.
Maybe
we're not going to make you feel bad.
Be telling their viewers who to vote for.
Well, now he's like done a complete flip.
Well, yeah, I know he's like super, like he's basically like a political commentator almost at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what, do your thing, but that's just I don't see his stuff recommended at all.
Yeah.
So
and there's the
I
whole
think that's
thing.
another thing where his channel and his demographic, they're all in their own corner now.
Yeah.
And that's
and
fine.
There's the
but
whole thing
not
with
for me.
Gokanaru and such.
Okinaru?
Yeah, that one kid that did he did a video on like criticizing
oh yeah,
Ethan.
that whole deal.
Yeah.
And they did like a whole response thing to that and stuff.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like when people become so much, when I'm watching people's videos and all of their content turns into them responding to other people's videos and it just turns into drama. It just, part of me wants to follow it because I'm like, it's kind of interesting, entertaining, but
right,
on the other hand, it's really annoying.
Yeah.
Because like I'll like what that's
it's like I have to deal with enough in my own.
That's what made me
life.
like reflect on all of this, because I was listening to this June the King guy's videos, and I think he made one on H3 actually, like about where he started and where he's at now, and it was really weird because I was like, yeah, like, man, some people just became like, would start out as one thing, and then like when it gets to the here's the downfall part, it's just a billion drama channels making videos on them and then responding to that, and then the drama channels responding to their response and them responding to his response on their response. And I was like, and then
they fight each other in creator
I just
clash.
watched that all because they used to make stuff I like, but if they didn't make stuff I had liked before, it's like, it's just proof that I was super like parasocial with these people, because I was like, I need to know what's, are they going to be okay? Are they going to make it out of this?
Right.
Like when I got to a point where some YouTubers got canceled or like retired or just stopped making stuff in some way, when I had someone that I followed for a long time, something like that happened, and I just was like, whatever, and I didn't care. I was like, I'm in a much healthier place now, because I'm not like emotionally distraught, and I'm not Googling or looking up Twitter profiles to see how other people are reacting. When I just realized I don't care anymore, I'm like, oh, thank God. It was the recent one for me was like, it's because they were related to Game Grumps, but the Super Mega guys, they had some like horrible thing.
Oh yeah,
they had some crazy drama. I'm not even gonna get into it, but they had some crazy
I feel bad
drama.
for them.
I do too. It's like, it's
because they didn't really
the
do
whole
anything.
situation was just insane.
Yeah, and
all that happened, and now part of me was like, oh, I'm a little bummed, but at the same time I was like, all right, I know what happened. I'm done. Like,
yeah,
I'm good.
I mean, honestly,
like,
the whole thing.
I'm not going to research this at all. Like,
the whole thing just seemed like it was something that wasn't really anyone's business, really.
Yeah, and I hadn't watched their stuff in a long time anyway. I was like, why do I care?
Yeah,
like I used to know about them. I don't have emotional investment. I'm good. And when I had that reaction and just moved on, I was like,
I have now ascended.
I was like, I'm free. I was like, I'm not spending a month listening to some YouTuber like complain about another YouTuber who complained about them, and I'm just that whole era. There was a weirdly fun aspect to the drama,
to some of it, yeah.
But I was like, man, that was like the tabloid era.
It's true, yeah. Yeah, there's something about that time. I guess even like, especially with like things like Content Cop and such.
Yeah,
and,
like that. Like
Drama Alert was very big.
Like
back
Content
then.
Cop, it's like, oh yeah, those videos are so cool. But I'm like, when I think about it, if I had made stuff like that, I probably would be a little embarrassed about it. Like now, it's like, oh, the biggest things I'm known for are just like dunking on other YouTubers.
Yeah,
like being part of drama.
Yeah,
like at the time, I remember the hype of it. A new one came out. I was like, whoa, but. Part of me is like, I'm glad that's not like what YouTube really is about.
Yeah,
and that still happens.
Yeah, and now we got the whole thing with Jax Films and Sniper Wolf.
Yeah,
but Sniper Wolf is an actual terrible.
That's at
person,
least more
so.
like you can just glance at that situation and be like, yeah, she's evil. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
but that will bring us to.
Yeah, let's talk about.
There was that era, and we all got over it.
Yes,
and
we've all grown. We are now a better man.
I feel like my relationship with like YouTube and YouTubers is like just so different now, because I'm not really investing myself into people's lives. I'm not. I feel like I've kind of broken away from like this parasocial attitude I used to get very unintentionally. Like I always thought I was like good at, like, oh, I know I'm not like their friends or anything, but part of it's hard. It's hard to actually admit to yourself, like, yeah, I'm like emotionally like connected to these people, which like, you can be, there's a healthy way. Like you can, if someone makes content that resonates with you emotionally, I think that's different than being like, in love with this person.
Right. Yeah. And like knowing
rather
every
than
little
just
detail
respecting what
about
they
them.
make and understanding that the stuff they make affects you, but
you're
not like their friend. But
we could be though.
I feel we could be. If we met, he would like me.
We'd be besties.
But I feel like the people I'm watching now are. I don't watch people necessarily. Like I watch people for, their personality in a way, because people that make art, or like movie directors, like you watch a movie because Martin Scorsese directed it and you like Scorsese.
Right.
But it's not like, oh, if Scorsese is like a person and I want to know everything about his life. It's just you really resonate with the stuff he makes, just as a random example.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten to that point with the YouTubers I watch where I'm not watching it just for the person and they can put out something bad and I'll just like watch it because it's from them. I'm watching it because I like the stuff they make specifically, and I'm not like invested in them, like in their life.
Right.
I'm just invested in what they make. I feel like I've kind of found this new era that I'm in where I'm like taking it a little more, I guess, less as like I don't look at it as an avenue for gossip and drama. It's more just for actually interesting,
just like actual
art
content.
And content.
Yeah.
Like there's some good filmmakers like Joel Haver, even he puts out some like
yeah.
short films and stuff, and that's like cool.
So anyway, the whole operation is run by Tony Who's there? Must have been my imagination. The whole operation is run by Tony. Did you hear something? I thought I just heard something. Must have been my imagination. The whole operation is run by Tony Lazzuto.
Tony Lazzuto? You're telling me Tony
What
was
was that?
I swear I saw something. Tony Lazzuto? You're telling
Did
me
you
who
hear
was that?
something? I thought I just heard
Mine must be
something.
playing tricks on me.
Must have been my
I swear
imagination.
I saw someone. Tony,
Did you
who
hear
was
something?
that?
I thought I just heard something.
Who's out there?
Must
Did
have
you
been
see
my
something?
imagination.
Mine must
The
be playing
whole
tricks on
operation
me.
is run by Tony Lazzuto.
Tony Lazzuto? Tony.
That's it.
But
yeah.
I think the people I'm watching the most right now are, my number one right now is the channel's called Action Button, but it's by a guy named Tim Rogers.
For those discourageous net runners lacking the cerebral hardware essential to jack in for the duration of this presentation, let us begin with the bottom line. Cyberpunk 2077 gives us everything.
And he's hands down like my favorite like content creator on the entire platform now, and he doesn't really even have that many videos, but they're all
even
really
more than
long.
me.
Yeah.
Because I'm also a content creator on YouTube.
But all of his stuff it's really long, but it's like he breaks it off into chapters, and he's like, I don't want to make multiple parts, so here's one big video, watch one chapter and then stop and continue the next day. That's kind of the mentality behind why they're so long, but it works. And I like that channel a lot because it's not just him reviewing a game and being like, is this game good or bad, and what's good about it, what's bad about it, and that's it. He's legitimately made me like rethink. First off, he worked in the game industry for like a long time. He's like 40 something right now. He's like a little older.
Wow.
He worked for Sony. He's done video game development for like a lot of his life, and he's lived in like tons of other places around the world, and he speaks like 12 languages or something, and he's like a really good writer. So just the way he's able to like present information feels really insightful because he actually has like experience. It's not just some guy who grew up. I played Mario growing up, so now I know everything about game development. It's like he knows a lot about game development.
It's like, I actually made the games that you play.
Yeah, like he worked on some stuff that I like knew about. I was like, whoa. But it's really interesting because he just provides a really unique perspective that is not common amongst gaming YouTubers who just think they know everything. And it's not just someone being like, oh, the controls feel great, but the story's kind of bad, and I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. It's
right.
He's legitimately made me rethink like video games as a medium and like how like what I respect about them, and like he has a video about a PS1 game is a Japanese only game called Boku no Natsuyasumi, which is like my summer vacation in English, and that video like made me reevaluate like what nostalgia is, and like the way he explains
what is nostalgia?
like the way he explains how the game relates to parts of his life and nostalgia, and the way he like tells like certain stories from his life like almost gave me like this weird existential crisis, and it makes me, I don't know, I just felt like it affected me more on a level than learning about a video game, but it goes far beyond that, and that's what I like about his content.
An existential crisis is definitely preferable to YouTube drama.
Yeah, and like it's like a kind of like reflective way, not like a oh my god, my life is
right,
not in like a depressing way, but
what is life?
But I just like it a lot because I feel like it just feels more meaningful and like interesting, and not all the channels I watch are like deep artistic revelations now. He's my favorite though.
It's all art.
But my other favorite is like Brutal Moose. He's like a lighthearted channel, but I just love
his
editing.
He's the moose that's brutal.
Yeah. But no, he just does like, he used to do game review stuff. He was kind of associated, he was in like a Hidden Block that was called Hidden Block, and they were kind of associated with Normal Boots, like the JonTron PBG group.
Right.
So he was kind of associated with them for a while, but he kind of just does like, sometimes he'll do a movie review, or he'll just go to like Bass Pro Shop and buy all of their food and do like reviewing Bass Pro Shop food. But he just has such insane weird editing, and he has like kind of a sort of dry sense of humor, and it's really funny. His videos are incredibly unique, and I love that. And who else have I been watching? Let me see.
Should I share who I watch while you're looking for that?
Yeah, go for it. I'll find some more.
Well,
yeah, there's a couple examples. Those are the two that come to mind for me. It's like Tim Rogers and like Brutal Moose are kind of the two that I feel like I get most excited for.
Yeah. I'll say I'm still a huge Game Grumps fan.
Yeah.
They're my favorite channel, and they have been for a while. Because they're really cozy for me.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll put on an episode, and like it's just super cozy. They're just two personalities that I really enjoy, and I love it when they just have fun. I love Aaron, and I love Danny. I love Danny's other stuff, Ninja Sex Party and such.
Yes, and listen, I don't mean to talk trash. I don't know how to make a game. It's probably super hard.
Oh, it's super hard. No, I mean, the fact that these guys got even this far is fantastic. Absolutely impressive. Making a game is the hardest thing in the world, aside from a bunch of other stuff that's way harder.
All right, next time on Game Grumps.
And yeah, I mean, even when I go to bed, I'll just put on Game Grumps compilations, honestly.
Yeah.
So sometimes it just feels like I'm living and breathing Game Grumps, and I've seen them live twice, and I don't know, they're just a very simple channel, but I love their goofs and gaffs.
Yeah, there's a lot of channels I watch for a cozy factor. That's why I like long form content, like videos that are like 6 hours long or something. And trust me, I know it's like a trope at this point. Like, people make fun of long form content, and a lot of people will make a 5-hour video, and it's just them like recapping the story scene by scene, and they don't really provide a lot of interesting input, and it's just dragged out and not interesting. But when people do it right, I love it.
Right. Yeah.
There's the channel I like a lot. He doesn't upload very often, but it's called Steak Bentley.
It's been around 3 years since I uploaded a video on this channel. That's a long time. Basically what happened is, after the last video, I got really excited and I really wanted to start like making videos on the regular. And then I got really depressed for no reason, and then there was a worldwide pandemic, and then I got really depressed. And then I sat on a cold rock in the woods for around 14 months, and here we are. You're all caught up. So, to my friends, supporters, patrons, and subscribers, I give you the gift of me talking about a cartoon you've never heard of for almost an hour.
Steak Bentley. He made, I haven't, not necessarily for like his whole channel. He has some other good videos I like. Like, he made one on the Venture Bros and like Cowboy Bebop and stuff. But he made this like 3-hour video on Metal Gear Solid 4, and it's called Metal Gear Solid 4 Was a Mistake. And I love that game. I think it's kind of a weird masterpiece, even though I recognize it has a ton of problems and a lot of like really bad stuff in it. But that's what his video is about. It's called MGS4 Was a Mistake, and you think it's going to be this long video about how it's like garbage and it's someone making like talking about how bad the game is the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's him explaining like why, like the revelation of the video is like it was like the fan base's mistake because the game was only made because people demanded it so hard that he like didn't have a choice but to direct it because he wasn't going to.
Right.
And then the guy who was going to direct it got a bunch of death threats and everyone freaked out and was like, no, we can't have a Metal Gear game without Kojima. That's heresy. And like forced him into making it. And I think the game's incredible. It's definitely not perfect. It has so many problems. Like it's kind of also it's kind
great.
of also terrible in a lot of ways, but I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what the video is about, and it's a really cool perspective and just very much like, hey, I love this thing, but I'm gonna tear it apart. And that's what's cool. Like it kind of teaches you like you can love something and acknowledge its problems even if you think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I remember that I watched that like a long time ago when it came out. And I thought I was like, oh, this is going to be so annoying because I love this game. And it made me realize like, oh, I can be okay with like understanding things I love have flaws and I don't need to get defensive over criticisms of stuff I like. You
right.
know, I can accept those, but just be
accept
okay
different
with them.
opinions. Yeah.
Yeah, I can be okay with like things I like having flaws. So
yeah,
I like him a lot, even though he hardly uploads. And I really like Folding Ideas.
Oh yeah,
he's been making a lot. He made like the Lord of the Rings backsheet video. That's great. He
that was
did
good.
some stuff on like NFTs and like the metaverse recently that are really good. And it's just very, very professionally made and well edited stuff.
Yeah.
Jackson made extremely effective use of the internet during production, curating an official fan club that lent the production a sense of authority and consensus. Whatever disagreement over adaptational decisions, the box set extended edition DVD still stand as a masterpiece of filmmaking and an undeniable set of bona fides. The display of a passion project wrought on a scale that comes along once in a lifetime, with dozens of hours of documentary combing over every minute detail of the process and effort that went into lovingly rendering the world. But before we all get swept away in that fervor like Nazgul in the river, I wanted to turn some attention towards Ralph Bakshi's 1978 adaptation.
I haven't watched either of those videos. Maybe
they're really good. Yeah, they're super fast.
I don't have a whole lot of interest in NFTs.
I don't either, but hearing someone explain like the problems with them is really funny.
Yeah,
because there's still like a sense of humor behind all of it too, but it's interesting. And then I guess the last one I'll mention is probably a channel I've been watching pretty semi-often is Turning the Tables, and it's just this guy and his dad. They just like listen to albums together.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Connor. I'm here with my father, Kevin. And today we are doing what most people would call a classic album, Demon Days by Gorillaz. And up until this morning, when I said we were going to be doing some Gorillaz, you did not know who they were.
Well, when you said hey, you know what we're doing today? I'm like, we're doing a couple. No, we're doing some Gorillaz, and I'm like, I really don't have a clue what the hell that was. I thought we're gonna watch National Geographic.
Yeah, just watch Gorillaz.
Yeah, just watch Gorillaz or something.
And it's just the son. He's probably our age. And it's just him like showing his dad like music, and then they react to it together. And it's the dad just like his input on music is just because he's kind of a musician too, and like they reacted to a Little Sims album, like my favorite rap album of all time. I might be introvert. Sometimes I might be introvert, and just the way he reacted to it and got like emotional, and he like cries in like every other video because he'll like read lyrics, and just his connection to music and how much he loves music. And,
yeah.
Like the point of the channel was like, oh, I'm showing like my dad reacts to this because his dad didn't really know much about like I think he started by showing him Radiohead, and they showed him Strokes, and they do a lot of rap. So there's a lot of videos I just don't watch because it's about an artist I'm not familiar with.
Right. You okay?
But I'm like talking too much. But that's kind of the gimmick of it, is like hearing this guy just react to music he used to not have any knowledge of, but now he's like he's like super into rap now, and his son has like totally changed his taste in music, and it's kind of fun.
Nice.
But yeah, I like that.
It sounds very wholesome.
I need you to talk. Somebody just dried my throat
Okay.
out. Talking too much.
You don't need to get water or anything?
No, I'll be all right. I just need to relax my throat.
Okay, cool. Such a chatterbox.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll mention like YouTube channels that like when they upload, it's like, oh dang, gotta take time for this. Big ones would be Red Letter Media.
Oh yeah, them too. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I still watch every upload they do.
Red Letter Media is incredible. They're pretty much they're their own thing, pretty much.
Yeah, they have completely stood the test of time as a niche.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, they've got their dedicated fan base, but it's not like that they really are interested in like
their viewership like
seeking
never
friends or
dwindles
anything.
either. I feel like they have never dropped in viewership.
Yeah, they're so good, and they have their different shows. They have Half in the Bag where they usually review more recent films, and then they got their Best of the Worst is one of my favorites. It's probably their most popular, maybe. Well, Half in the Bag's probably up there too.
Yeah,
but
I really like their review series.
Reviews are good, where they usually pick like an older movie to talk about that they
and obviously they have all their Best of the Worsts.
Yeah. Best of the Worst. Those Best of the Worst is what got me into Red Letter Media.
Yeah, I remember when I finally got you into them, I was so happy.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, you need to watch them. You're like, oh, they seem all right.
It was you, and it was like they're just one of those YouTube channels that like other YouTubers also like really respect and talk about.
I think I got into them because I watched YMS really early on, and he talked about them a lot.
Yeah.
Like so many YouTubers like mention them as like
but it's not like that they're like crazy popular like in the algorithms or anything.
No,
they're
not
just,
at all.
They're a YouTuber's YouTube channel pretty much.
Yeah.
Where it's like, other YouTubers
they're just
like
the
know about
grandfathers
them.
of the platform.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
They just do their thing. They never get involved with other channels really. They
Yeah.
just stay in their lane, and they've never really been in any drama except for with William Shatner, but that was just funny. That was just funny, you know.
That was funny. Yeah. But yeah, I love Red Letter Media.
Alderaan! Adat Walkers! We go back to Yavin 4. Remember the rebel base?
I clapped when I saw it.
I clapped when I saw Darth Vader!
ATSTs!
Lucasfilm logo. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but no title crawl. Oh well!
I applauded it for being different.
It broke new ground!
And speaking of YMS, he would be another one. He's very much responsible for how I watch movies now.
The Lion King 2019 is one of the most embarrassing pieces of garbage I've ever watched. And what makes it extra embarrassing is that they already had the blueprint for a great film, but unfortunately every attempt at updating and improving upon the original only made it much, much worse. It's kind of sad that so many people see this as just the same movie but with different animation, because to ignore the gigantic differences between these two films is to also ignore what made the first film so successful in the first place.
So
I feel like even if I don't follow him or even really agree with him like as much as I used to anymore, I don't know if I would have gotten into movies as intensely as I did without him. And I had my phase for a couple years. I was trying too hard to like be like an enlightened film bro, and I was like better than everyone else. But I expanded my horizons a ton because of him and his like yearly lists, and I got into wanting to watch foreign films because of him. So even if I find my like, there's been some reviews over like I don't know the past couple of years where I'm like, what? Like I don't agree with this at all. Like I found myself disagreeing with him more, but not like I hate him now. It's just I notice he's sometimes not the best like compass for me these days, but I still like. appreciate that he got me into so much that I would have never even tried to watch. Without him,
And if anything, I think he also taught me how to also just like be okay with other people's movie opinions.
Yeah.
Like people are probably gonna like movies that you don't, and people are gonna not like movies that you do, and that's okay. And I think he did a good job at like showing that to me.
Right.
Same with the other two Sarconidast, Posdact. I hate everything in Ralph the Movie Maker. I also love their content. And then there's also this other like niche or branch of YouTubers that are more like, I guess like comedy, comedy, commentary and entertainment.
Yeah.
And those are like Drew Gooden.
Right.
I love Drew Gooden. Eddie
Drew
Burback.
Gooden's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much just like, I love these guys like comedic style, and I love the content that they make.
Yeah.
Like I love how Drew Gooden's videos are, a lot of them are just like, I'm gonna buy like everything that comes up as an ad, and I'm gonna like review it sorta, and it's always funny. I love his humor. Same with like Eddie Burback, Cody Code, Danny Gonzalez. I love those guys.
He's not really specifically that kind of content, but he's associated with them. He's a big one for you and me still, is Nikki Jakey.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I got Abby.
He was kind of like,
I got Abby really obsessed with him.
Nice.
She gets like excited if a new video comes out.
Yeah, we always usually like text each other whenever. He
I'm like,
uploads.
oh, new one. It's just I just love his personality, and even on like a deeper level, like his videos about like Red Dead 2 and Last of Us 2, or especially the Red Dead 2 one. It's like, if you love that game, it's kind of a humbling video to watch in a way. And it's like, I still love
not
that.
my favorite takes.
It's
from
like
him.
I still love that game, but I also love that video.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's so there's a lot of, I almost kind of completely agree with him. It's just a matter of, do those problems really affect my experience?
Well, right.
As much
He
as
even
him?
says at the beginning of that video,
he's good at like that nuance.
He's like,
that's what I like.
I love that Lego. What was it? That Lego metaphor
like
that
the
he
Lego
uses.
bucket versus the set.
Now moving over to the Lego set here, this is a completely different kind of experience. The Legos in the set still represent the gameplay mechanics, but you're following a predetermined order on how you're going to experience all the different shit that the game has to offer. So when you finally finish your Lego creation, your creation and my creation are going to look very similar. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because there's plenty of great Lego set type games. Portal 2, Uncharted 2, Inside, Donkey Kong Country. These games are very linear and have specific beats and gameplay moments that they want you to experience in a certain order and way, and there's nothing wrong with that. All these games are wet dreams. But the problem with Red Dead 2 and almost all of Rockstar's open world games is that they're constantly flip-flopping between these two different kinds of design. You have the open world where you're encouraged to experiment with the different gameplay systems and explore your surroundings and potentially do some creative problem solving, and then the missions, which essentially shoot all of that in the face and boil down to following a yellow line and waiting to be told what to do, and if you do anything other than the exact thing you're supposed to do, mission failed. Try to take a different route, mission failed.
Right.
Yeah. And, I like those videos because I mean, Abby, she's not like a gamer or anything. She has a Switch and plays Animal Crossing, but she doesn't. I'm kind of like, she's become a bit of a nerd for Final Fantasy, not in a way where she plays it, but our thing is like, I'll play through a Final Fantasy game and she'll watch it, and she gets really into the story, even if it's really stupid or bad. Like we're playing through all the 13 trilogy right now, and they're kind of stupid. Especially I'm on the third one now, and it's absurd and it's really dumb, but we're just so into it in like a Twilight way. It's like, this is dumb, but it's fun. But I feel like for her, like, she hasn't been like into games as much, and I feel like he's really good at explaining like game design in a way like that ends up making sense for her, and she's like,
because it's like fun and
she's like, I love like learning
accessible
about like games. It's so interesting to me, and I feel like he's good at explaining it in a way that everyone can kind of understand.
Yeah,
you know, it's fun.
Yeah, he's great. He's definitely one of my. I was gonna like, he's kind of like separate from like those Drew Goodens and such because of he has a very specific style and kind of content that he talks about. But I also love that he just like feels the freedom to like, he's like, I'm gonna make a video about dating shows.
Yeah, or like Disney Channel movies, you know.
Right, yeah. It's so I love that. He always makes me laugh.
So yeah, he's one I
always
look forward to. He's because I watch a lot of like longer content now. It's like an hour long or something, but he's one of the few I still watch. It's like a 15-minute video. Cool.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, sometimes he'll put out like his Elden Ring one that's longer. I love his longer videos.
Yeah,
I
kind of
wish I hope he does a lot more of those.
Yeah,
but his shorter ones are good too.
They're good, but then like when they're done, it's like, oh, I want more.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, Nakey Jakey is another one. I guess the last one I'll mention is another one that you got me into is Wendigoon.
Yeah.
I
haven't kept up with him in a while, but yeah, I had like a phase where I was like binging like everything he made.
Yeah. He's I love his personality because basically what he does is that he does videos on like horror related stuff mostly. He's done actually it was a Wendigoon reference at the beginning of this episode when I was like, hello everybody.
Yeah,
because that's how he does all his videos. Anyway,
he's a silly little guy,
but for some reason I've been on a Wendigoon kick lately.
Yeah.
I was watching like one of his streams. He did this really cool what am I saying? He did this stream where he was watching The Oldest View, which is this really cool new horror series from the guy who did the Backrooms videos. And that was that clip that I sent you where he just jump scares him.
Gotcha.
It was great. But yeah, he's really cool. Some of my favorite videos that he does is the ones where he just like talks about books that he's reading.
Oh yeah, because
those are like so interesting, especially if I hadn't read them before.
Right,
it's like it kind of makes me want to read them, and then I never do. But yeah, Wendigoon is cool, and it's been cool to see because he's been a more like kind of recent rise to popularity.
Yeah, he got popular really fast.
Yeah,
it was really weird.
Yeah, but it's
like,
it's cool to watch
exploded.
though.
Yeah, it is.
He's like all of a sudden, people are watching my videos for some reason.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's really cool.
Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about one of the most important and misunderstood stories in the entirety of the English language. Frankenstein. The original edition of Frankenstein was written by Mary Shelley in 1818. And from there, the story's combination of romantic and gothic themes laid the creation for horror as we know it today. However, while many of you are probably familiar with the concept of Frankenstein's monster and the literal hundreds of adaptations the story's had, a lot of people overlook the depth and impact that the original tale holds. So today, we're going to give the story the justice it deserves and go through the story together and see what made it so special.
The other two I'll mention real quick as my last ones. I feel like there's slightly smaller channels. First one I'll mention real quick. I'll go with the bigger channel first. He has like a good amount of subs, but he's not like he's one of the channels that's like below 100,000. I feel like a lot of the channels I watch are like I think Action Button, he has a few 100,000, I'm pretty sure. His videos tend to get 1 million views or so, but a lot of the channels that we're like mentioning are a lot bigger. I'll mention a couple smaller people I think deserve a little shout out. One, it's not a very deep or complex or super unique channel by any means. I just really like his vibe and how he talks about things, and specifically because I'm a JRPG nut and he talks a lot about those. This guy is called Majular, Majular. His icon's like a walrus with a hat or something. But he just talks about, he's talked about a lot of like JRPGs, or he did this video on the Zelda CDI games that got like memed on a lot.
Yeah.
And
golly,
it was such a good video because he's not in any way being like, these games are actually good. Like he's like, these games are pretty horrible, and like, pokes fun at them still, but he kind of takes a really lighthearted look at it, and he just has a very like chill demeanor and like delivery of how he talks, and it's just a unique vibe. And he even takes time to be like, like the background art on these, they're actually honestly like the background art of these games is really good, and one of the games,
I'll say the music's actually kind of good on on those games.
Yeah. And there's the third game was, it's another one where you play Zelda, but it's top down. And it's
Oh
really
yeah,
good.
that one's
That's like supposed to be the worst one. But
fun
like,
fact: the creator of the first 2 CDI Zelda games,
they're making a new one.
Said what?
Oh wait, no, sorry. Go ahead.
That's well.
I thought you were about to talk about how there's a new indie game coming out, literally inspired by the games with like the same animation style, and they got the original voice actors.
Oh, of course.
Anyways,
that's fun.
I thought you were.
Well,
about to
I was
mention
gonna
that.
say the creator of the first 2 CDI Zelda games said that the third one was bad.
Oh yeah.
So
and
that tells you
he
anything.
goes through it, and I've never actually seen anyone like show the whole game. Like they just kind of vaguely talk about it and how bad it is, but he kind of goes through it and is like, "This is what this dungeon is like, and it's really bad." And,
It's like
and he gives them all like a really fair chance, and he even I think in the one like that one that's really bad, there's some levels where it's like they made like real physical dioramas and like took pictures of them for some of the levels, and he's like he's like, these are actually like really nice, like it's really charming, and there's like behind the scenes like actual photos of them, and he's like it's a shame that it's like compressed and in this horrible game, but he's like, but like you can tell there's some aspects of these games that people really cared about and put a lot of cool work into, and I like that he's kind of, because it's not like people didn't put effort in these games or didn't work on them at all.
Right.
So I kind of like that he dug in and found some stuff to kind of appreciate about them, and like talk about the artist who worked on a certain aspect, or the background art of the other 2 games is actually like not bad if you just look at it. It's like it's a pretty good looking game sometimes.
Sometimes.
But yeah, it was just it was a different take on it. It wasn't just these games are horrible and trash, and he's like, look, these are not even close to being the worst games of all time. He's like, no, they're not good, but like you'd have to be insane to think these are like the worst games of all time. So I just kind of like that. Like,
Game Grumps have playthroughs of all 3 of those
they
games, and they're really funny. I would recommend them.
Now, this might be controversial, but I actually kind of like CDI Link.
Oh boy, I'm so hungry I could eat an Octorok.
There's sort of a dopey, innocent dork quality to him that it kind of makes him endearing.
When I'm crouching, you can make me do the duck walk. Cool, huh?
I don't know. This could just be Stockholm Syndrome after playing all of these games for so long, but I don't know. He's a likable wiener.
But he recently did a video on all the Kingsfield games, which if you don't know what that is, that's Dark Souls before Dark Souls. It was FromSoft's series before they made Demon Souls. So he's really cool. I like his channel a lot. And then the other one I'll mention is a channel called Micah Edmonds. His profile picture is just like a bird or something. But
Edmund.
He only has like 7,000 subs, and it blows my mind. And he's doing like this series on Pixar, and they're getting like 1.5 thousand views. Like he's really small, but his stuff is he has such a good like microphone. His stuff is so well edited. His voice delivery, like he gives off the vibe of like at least 100,000 sub channel. Like
that's cool.
He's very well made stuff, and he's Australian, so he has an accent. But
never mind.
He mostly did stuff like his popular stuff back then was talking about the Arkham Batman games, and he just gets like really deep, and it kind of has like the action button aspect where it's not really just about is game good or bad. Like he gets a lot deeper and talks about themes in his life and stuff. And he did a series on the Ratchet and Clank games, and he is the only person I have ever heard talk about Crack in Time and praise it as highly as I appreciate that game, because I think Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time is like one of the best games ever, and he's like the only person on YouTube I've ever seen talk about it in a way where I'm like, yes, this is how I feel about it. This is why I think it's so good. And he also talked about the new Ratchet and Clank game and why it was really good, but also why it was really frustrating for people who like to Crack in Time. And I was like, you were the only person who understands how I feel. So that's kind of how that's why I got into him, because I was like, oh, he's the only person who gets it. So that's kind of how I got into him, because I was like, oh, I clearly vibe with his taste. But recently, the past few months, he's doing a series on like Pixar movies. And it's kind of like a layered thing where it's like going from like worst to best, and he's doing like 3 movies at a time. So like the first one's called like Pixar's Misses, and then Pixar's Mixed Bags, their Threshold, Rhythm Pieces, and he's like more in the ones he really likes now.
Right.
But the way he's talking about Pixar is kind of like making me appreciate Pixar again, and not like, other stuff I don't like, I actually like now. Not in that way, but
Right.
just
Cars 2.
It's making me remember like what that Pixar feeling, and
Right.
it's making me remember why I used to like love Pixar. And he's giving like, he has some takes that I don't specifically agree with. Like he really doesn't like Monsters Inc. that much. But it's interesting to hear why, and he
sure
explains it in a way that I can't imagine anyone would get mad over if he disagreed. Like he's very fair in how he talks about things, and when he does talk about newer stuff, like he kind of talked about, he's like, you know what, I'm sick of pretending like Cars isn't good. He's like, the first Cars movie's pretty good.
You know what? I'm kind of
I kind of like the first Cars movie.
Yeah,
I've always
it's
been
not great.
I've always been a
but-
little embarrassed to say I kind of like the first Cars movie, but he's like, it's kind of a
No,
good movie.
Cars-
He's like,
the
it's a
first
good
Cars is
movie.
not bad.
And it's just kind of making me appreciate stuff about that again. And I like how it's like a fresh perspective. Like he talks about some newer Pixar stuff, and it's like, hey, look, this is like not that bad, and it's still like hard to deny that it's really well made. And see, I like how he talks. He hasn't really talked about movies a lot, but I love how he talks about movies just based on his Pixar videos. They're really good
Right.
watches. They're all pretty long, but I would recommend those.
Okay.
Go to Micah Edmonds and start watching his Pixar movie.
Micah
reviews.
Edmund Pevensey.
It's called Some Movies I Like. This video, that is, it's really about my 4 favorites. 4 films I'll happily talk about at nearly any time of any day. I have kind of wanted to talk about these films in a video for a long time, but I never really had a reason. Didn't know how to like, oh, how The Prestige does this or that. I just decided I don't need one. I just like the movies. I know who I do this for. I know who I do almost anything for. I like these movies because they're good movies, sure, but they're my favorites because of how I've felt connected to them over a period of years. I see a lot of myself in them. I see a lot of myself in 500 Days, not great parts, people I've left behind, hopefully. Similar in Ripley, although much darker. In Broken, I see a love that I aspire to. But for The Prestige, there are a few movie-related activities that I've taken more joy in. I've been, frankly, honored to sit with probably close to 20 different people who are watching it for the first time, where I can enjoy one of life's most singular treasures. A film about artistry, about art's relationship to an audience, and also its...
And then another YouTube channel I would highly recommend you guys go check out, because he's a very small channel and needs support, is this channel called I'm Clifford Today, and no relation at all, but you should go check out his stuff.
Yes.
Actually, I haven't... I'm starting to be more active on there again, since I don't think I really mentioned it on the podcast. Some people probably already know because there's a lot of crossover between our listeners and people who watch me. But in case there were any stragglers on here, I'm back. So yeah, and it's been actually really cool because I've been interviewing a lot of really cool people for my show, and so that's been awesome.
Nice.
Anyways, I just picked a random moment to go ahead and promote me.
It's a good segue.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to top off that specific topic.
Yeah. That was a fun talk. Something that means a lot to both of us.
It was something I feel like I was just like thinking about recently, and I was like, man, YouTube's been like, I really have been like heavily invested in YouTube stuff for a long time.
It's very important to us.
Yeah. I think about it, and I'm like, it's not like, if someone were to be like, is YouTube super important to you? My instinct would be like, not really. But if I think about it, a lot of reasons I got into things I care about is because of people on YouTube. In a way. Like,
it's probably a big reason
out,
why we're doing this podcast, honestly.
I reevaluated like a lot of stuff because of YouTubers. My taste in movies or games, I discovered a lot of things that are my favorite things of all time now because of exposure on YouTube. So
yeah, and
it's like, it's not necessarily that like a specific YouTube video is one of the most important things of all time to me, but what they exposed to me and how they helped me rethink about things or introduce me to things that I would have never been aware of otherwise has been like really awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, it's all the channels that I watched over the years inspired me to do what I do. I mean, it's not my full-time it's not even my part-time job, honestly, but like it's become
like we got to go back in time to like 2007, and then we know what videos do well, and then we'll get hired by Rooster Teeth, and we'll know to say no to that.
Oh gosh. Or Machinima.
Machinima. We'll know which people to avoid.
Yeah.
Man, it sucks because like I'm not gonna get too deep back into the YouTube stuff, but I didn't mention Rooster Teeth, but I was like I thought Red and Blue was so cool. Red versus Blue. I was super into Red versus Blue.
I never got into Rooster Teeth stuff.
I had a short phase with them, like exclusively for Red versus Blue. I didn't really watch other stuff. I didn't watch Funhouse or like a lot of that when it came out.
Yeah.
I remember I tried watching Ruby when that became a thing, and I just thought it sucked, so I didn't watch it.
I don't even know what these things are. Bless you.
Yeah, but
that's what you didn't sneeze.
Might as well have. But yeah.
Oh gosh, remember Sugar Pine 7?
Yeah,
you and I were both really into them.
Yeah,
for
they
a
were
while.
cool. They were like the Office of YouTube for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They want to stream me.
Yeah, they were. That was a really cool, unique channel. It's a shame.
Yeah,
they were part of Rooster Teeth.
Were they a part of Rooster Teeth?
I think whoever they were under like got bought by Rooster Teeth, and I feel like that's kind of when stuff hit the fan, because then Rooster Teeth like blew up and all.
Because I know they collabed with Funhouse a lot, so
yeah.
But I didn't know that they were a part of that. I thought they were independent.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Maybe they're just like associated. I don't know if they were owned or whatever. I feel like they were with Full Screen. I don't know. They were associated with like 5 other companies. I feel like.
All you aspiring YouTubers out there, stay independent.
Yeah.
Don't get like wrapped up into those kinds of things.
Literally.
Because I think that almost like ruined PewDiePie. Like he almost like signed on to
a lot of people
those
like
things
who had promising careers in that field like completely went broke and like dropped out of even attempting anymore because of companies like Machinima.
Yeah.
Or like Screw Attack or whatever. But yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. Crazy times.
What movies are you looking forward to right now?
Oh, okay.
Just off the top, don't even open Letterboxd to look. Just like off the top of your head, what are some things?
Well, Killers of the Flower Moon is coming out this weekend.
Yes.
As of
God,
recording.
I need to see that.
We need to try and see it.
Yeah.
We will. Me know.
I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
I want to see it so bad. I'm excited.
I
forgot that was coming out so soon.
Yeah, I just happened to like see it online and was like, oh yeah. So
Boy and the Heron, obviously.
Boy and the Heron, yeah. I've heard mixed things about it.
I've just decided it's gonna be a 5-star. Like I know. I just know I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely.
I saw YMS gave it a 6, but I'm like, he doesn't really like love a lot of Ghibli.
Yeah, he's not really a big Ghibli boy. So,
but I'm excited for it. Did you see the English voice cast, dude?
Yeah, very stacked.
Got the Lighthouse reunion.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson in a Ghibli movie is
so
cool.
I'm interested to see.
I'm still
like,
trying
what
to
his
avoid
voice
any
acting
imagery.
skills
I don't want to
are.
know any imagery, but I saw. The
Yeah,
voice
I haven't
cast
watched.
post.
I haven't watched any trailers.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't help it. It's because a lot of
I've seen like
posters
some posters
come
and
across.
stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see anything moving.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Florence Pugh. Christian Bale's coming back.
Yeah, that's right. He was in last one he was in was Howl's Moving Castle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was
cool.
I think there was another one who was also a Ghibli alumni. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Who it was. Oh yeah, and also Batman reunion. Christian Bale and Robert Pattinson.
Oh yeah, both Batman.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's probably my most hyped right now, just because Ghibli's like an important. Those Miyazaki Ghibli movies are like important to me at this point. So
yeah, very important.
So excited.
I'm trying to think. I feel like you told me not to go on Letterboxd.
Yeah, no, just try to. You'll know what you're truly excited for if you.
Yeah, well, I know what's immediate, and that's Killers of the Flower Moon.
I was excited for Aggro Drift, but I've and like people being like, oh, it's so horrible, like the contrary, like just knowing Harmony Korine, I'm like, that's good, that means I'm gonna like it, but I'm getting a little turned off from some of the interviews he's done. Apparently the movie uses a lot of like AI art, like for the visuals, and he in his interview he's like doing all this like AI art is so sick, it's like the future, man, and and like whatever, yeah, there's gonna be aspects of it that are, but I'm like, you're gonna go say this in interviews when like the actors and strike is like that's a big part of it. It just seems a little like out of touch.
Read the room, man.
And then I was hearing IHE, he kind of talked about it, and when he did his showing, he's like, yeah, all movies today just kind of suck, and it's kind of just like ruining the vibe of the movie for me. His like apparent
You're
approach.
still gonna watch it, though.
Oh, I'm going to, absolutely. I'm still feel like I'll probably have fun with it, but I this is just like a thing for me. Like I cannot help but be really adamant about it. I think AI as like some kind of assistive tool, the same way like Adobe Illustrator has like tools for helping with like certain graphic design. I think in some kind of regard there will be a place, even though none of this is AI, it's just tools and we're calling it AI, but none of it's actually AI.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
But the idea of what AI currently is in terms of like using imagery and stuff, and just like what it means for like voice acting, or like
a lot of industries,
just the way
honestly.
people think it can like replace actual human art instead of assisting human art, but just like, oh, AI itself can just like whatever, like a movie that's like using a lot of that, it just turns me off, because like when I see a really cool visual now, I'm just gonna be like, well, they just like pressed a button and made that.
Yeah.
Like it's just not gonna resonate as interesting to me now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer, and like maybe they only used it a little bit. I don't really know how they used it. I don't know. I feel like that's just a weird time right now. To have a movie where so much of its visual style is like dependent on like AI art integration.
Yeah.
I don't dig that. But maybe it's only a little bit. I'll probably still have fun with the movie and think it's ridiculous. And I still love Harmony Korine. He has a couple movies I think are just absolutely.
He can do no
masterpieces.
wrong.
But yeah, this is the thing. I'm like, it's kind of hard to be like part of me wanted to be like, oh well, maybe he meant this, but I'm like, no, I just think he's a lot of touch on this one, and that's fine.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. I don't think he's like a bad guy. All of a sudden, I'm still gonna see it. But yeah, it kind of ruined the vibe a little bit for me, honestly.
Well, I'm sorry,
but
I hope you'll recover.
Yeah, it's okay. But I don't know. I'm still gonna watch it. Maybe I'll still think it's dope. But I was like, oh, it's gonna be movie of the year for sure for me. But probably not.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll probably appreciate the hand drawn animation of the boy in the heron a bit more at this point.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the thing with AI, is that I think we're gonna get to a point where hopefully, fingers crossed, that people are just going to crave like something that a human made.
Yeah, and like
because there's going to be always something special about that.
And the writer's strike already got agreements that is good. Like, so they already have regulations for AI with writing, and now just the actors need it. Because there was that. Did you see the post about that Disney prom night movie? There is a scene in this movie where they had scanned actors, and without telling them, they like. There's a scene in like this gym. It's like a high school prom movie, and it's a Disney Plus movie or something. And it cuts to a scene of like people clapping in the bleachers, and there's like a whole row of students, and they are all like CGI animated, weird, uncanny freaks.
But it's live. It's a live action.
It's a live action movie, but they used AI to scan actors, and there's a whole row of like people, and they look like PlayStation 4 characters, and they're like clapping and like for like just like 2 seconds.
Oh gosh!
So they used AI technology to scan these actors, and like used that to like fill out space in the bleachers, because they
didn't even hire animators to do something like that.
They were literally animated like like someone animated in like 5 seconds probably. Like it looks horrible and uncanny, but it's only for a second because they don't think like you'll notice it, but someone like paused it, and I was like, this is really weird. And this is like what they want to do. They want to like, we don't need extras anymore. We can just scan actors and then fill out the stadium. And I don't know. It was weird. So I'm like, that's what actors are kind of striking. It's like you can't scan our faces and then just like use us in movies without us knowing now.
Well,
that's a big part of it.
Stuff like that has kind of always existed. Like, when in a movie, if they want like an army to seem bigger,
that's totally different. That's like in Lord of the Rings, they used the army simulator thing, and that's not really AI. I think AI is such a buzzword now, but that's like its own thing. But this is like they had their likeness, like their faces, and you could like kind of tell it was like they used the likeness of real people.
So they were real people.
Yeah, it was scanned off real people, and they just put them in the bleachers to fill out empty space. It's just weird looking.
Gotcha.
So it's like you can see their faces, you can tell it's supposed to be like real people, but if you like look at it close, it's like they look like PlayStation characters when you like look at it for more than 2 seconds, you know.
Right.
And the way they're moving, it's so weird. And it's just like a high school like movie, like a Disney movie.
Yeah, so who cares?
Yeah, it's just mega awkward. I'm like, this is like what they want to do on a bigger scale. They want to be able to, eventually, they want to have the Luke Skywalker movie with young Luke, but they don't want to use an actor. They just want to have some AI face scanned thing, and that's what I mean, if an actor is like cool with it, whatever. But they like did that without the actors knowing it. Apparently, the actors were like pissed about it. So.
They just picked random actors.
This is people. I guess it was just extras that were in the movie. I don't really know what the deal specifically was.
Were they extras that were already in the movie and they just like duplicated them?
Apparently,
sorta?
yeah. They said they like scanned that. I need to just like show you, like, so you can see.
I don't want to be scared.
It's mega weird. I think you have to see it to understand what I'm like talking about.
I don't want to be scared. It sounds scary, uncanny.
I think it's called Prom Night.
Disney Prom Night.
Disney Prom.
Welcome to Disney Prom Night.
Here's a video someone took. It's really short, but like, yeah. Look at those people right there. They're like all fake, but they're all like weird. Look at it though. They're like all like clapping. It's so weird.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing.
I thought that they were gonna be like farther away in the back.
No, it's
but that's like pretty close.
It's like you can literally, if you look at it for more in a second, it's like you can see the details of their face and stuff. But it's like so obvious if you look at it.
That is so weird. Why would they do that?
It's bizarre. Yeah, no, if it was just like if it was like Lord of the Rings stuff where it's just like tiny little people to make it look like 1,000.
That's what I was expecting.
That's
kinda.
cool. That's like interesting use.
But
of
it's like
technology.
an actual shot of the people in the stadium.
Yeah,
that's
like
so,
close up.
Like, why?
Kinda. It's weird, man.
Like, why not just use people?
Yeah, literally. It's like, would it have been hard to get 10 people to just sit there and clap? Like, why did you get people to animate? Like, what?
Right.
I don't get the thought process.
And like those spots were just empty. Like, why?
So I guess hypothetically, when they filmed that, there was no one sitting in that row, probably. Because the way they're moving, they're not moving like humans. They're moving like freaking robots.
Isn't it more expensive to animate things than to
Disney,
just have people in there?
Yeah, but Disney's like, I don't know, maybe it's not. Maybe
Disney,
they're like,
weird.
well, no, it's not, because then they don't have to, because if those, I don't know, if the people in that row that those things were scanned off of, I don't know if those were actors that were in the movie, like in other parts of the movie, but their logic is like, we can pay like a couple animators to just fill that out real quick, or we can pay like 12 extras to come in for shooting for like a whole day.
I guess.
You know, it's like, so then the extras don't.
Just
we don't need to pay the extras. We can just have someone scan their face.
Just pull off someone from the crew. Just be like, hey, sit there.
Yeah, literally. So I don't know. It's bizarre.
That is weird. Well, going back to things that we're excited about, off the top of my head, it's not really a movie. It's a show. The Curse.
Yeah, The Curse.
Really, really intrigued.
That's
and
gonna be cool
about that. It's created by Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie.
Yeah.
Such a
cool
pair up.
mix-up.
Nathan Fielder is, known for his Nathan For You show, and then The Rehearsal, and then Benny Safdie is one half of a directing brothers duo. They did Good Time and Uncut Gems is their more popular films that everyone knows.
Yeah.
And they're working together. And Emma Stone is in it too. And I still don't really... Okay, what it seems that the show is about is they're making this reality show.
It's like a
home makeover kind of show.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think of an example. Like an actual show.
Home improvement.
Oh yeah, it's like a home improvement.
Yeah.
Like, oh, move that bus. We fixed your house.
Right.
It's one of
Yeah.
those.
But then like watching the trailer, Nathan gets cursed by this random girl.
Yeah.
She's like, I curse you. And then things happen.
I just can't wait to see him like as an actor in a movie.
I imagine he'll do really
I feel
good.
like I haven't has he ever like just acted in a movie?
Well, like the rehearsal, even though
I mean,
like,
yeah, that might as
it's-
well have been an act. Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah, because he's the one. I mean, he's basically the one that
He's
is
playing a character.
acting. Yeah. Even though he's still like reacting in real time to
I
all
mean,
these
even
real
Nathan
people.
For You to an extent, like
Yeah.
I feel like that's him playing a character, but I do think he is probably like that a little bit in real life, but
Yeah,
probably he obviously exaggerates those parts of his personality, but
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just it's gonna be funny to see him in like a movie and not like a
Well, show.
what's supposed to be like a reality show, you know?
Right. Yeah. I'm really excited, and yeah, I love Nathan. I love Benny Safdie, and Emma Stone is one of my favorite actors. So, and I love how Emma Stone is like, she's the kind of actor that loves doing like different kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No matter how popular
She has a really
she
good
is.
filmography. Very
Yeah.
diverse.
Oh, Poor Things. I'm also really interested.
Poor
Speaking
Things,
of
yeah.
Emma Stone.
Yeah.
I love Yorgos Lanthimos, however you pronounce
Yeah.
his name.
I need to like watch his stuff.
You've never seen The Favorite?
Well, I've seen
Or
The Favorite. I
Lobster?
love The Favorite. I haven't seen The Lobster or.
I need to rewatch The
I haven't seen The
Lobster.
Lobster, Dogtooth, or Killing of a Sacred Deer. And I need to watch.
Oh
those.
yeah, he did that too. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I need to watch those. I love The Favorite though.
Yeah, The Favorite's great.
So I'm pretty confident I like his style. I just
The
still
Lobster.
haven't seen.
The Lobster I've seen only once, and the first time I saw it, I really felt like it was like, oh, he's like just trying to be like Wes Anderson, because all the characters they're like very like monotone
Yeah.
in their line delivery.
I know some people like hate that movie.
I didn't hate it. I need to.
I
go
mean, I know a
back
lot of
to
people
it.
love it too, but it's like a.
I've grown in my music taste since then, so I feel like I might appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Now, but like back then, it was still just a little bit too weird for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I got to go back to it sometime. But yeah, I'm interested in Poor Things. I feel like there's other stuff. Like there's always like something that.
I mean, there's Dune
keeps
2,
coming
but that's
up.
got delayed.
Yeah, Dune 2. Yeah, I can't really.
Yeah, no.
Think of anything.
That's all I
else.
got.
I'm sure there's more, but you won't let me
Um,
look up on
Speaking of like
Letterboxd.
watching things, Abby and I we finished Last Airbender a while ago, and she really liked it. And I decided I wanted to rewatch Korrah because the Legend of Korrah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call it Korrah, but I know you haven't watched it, so obviously I'm not gonna
Yeah.
talk too much about it. So we're watching it. We're probably like 3/4 through season 3. And I watched it once, like a long time ago, like when it came out, and then I never watched it again. And I was just like, man, I want to rewatch it because I remember like cool stuff about that show. And we rewatched it, started rewatching it, and I really liked season 1. I think season 1 is super cool. It's such a like, I feel like season 3 is where it actually feels more like, oh yeah, this is very like Last Airbender feeling. Like but the first one, it's like it's almost all in like Republic City, which is like a new setting, and it's like kind of 40s aesthetic, and it feels, it's like weird. It's like this is like Last Airbender universe. It's almost like confusing at first, but it's kind of cool. It's like a new setting, and like a lot of time has passed, and you get to see a lot of the original characters as adults and stuff. And I think season 1 is really cool, and it's like gets exceptionally dark at times too. Like season 3, you literally see a character like get killed like on screen basically.
You can't do that.
But it's really good. Season 1, and season 2 is so awful. Season 2 is like horribly boring, but it's because Nickelodeon like slashed the budget. Like the animation gets
Right.
a lot worse at one point. And
Because they were also like,
it's just so boring. The
They-
story gets like really meandering and like
didn't the creators like not No.
They didn't know if they were going to be able to make another season. So like, each season is
They're like,
basically
hey, make another one.
Yeah, every season kind of has its own villain, which it ends up being a cool like structure, like after season 2 at least. But
Villain of the week.
Yeah, but it's like each season is kind of its own thing, in a way. But I like the characters and stuff. But season 2 is like it probably I think that's why a lot of people think the whole show is bad because of season 2. But then season 3 immediately is like amazing. So and you can tell they got their budget back, and then season 4 is, in my memory, even better. But season 3 is like so good.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this is great. It's like if you watch Korrah, I would almost tell people to just look up a quick synopsis of what happened in season 2, because it's really not that much if you just write it down and just go to season 3, because season 2 probably would put you and has probably put a lot of other people off from like wanting to like finish the show.
Gotcha.
But like season 3 and 4 are so good, and I mean I'm assuming 4 is that's supposed to be like one of the best one, but I think season 1 is great, and then 3 and 4 it's like, and which is kind of funny because then Last Airbender is only 3 seasons, so you still get 3 really good seasons out of Korrah. But
Right.
Season 2 it just sucked. It was worse than I remembered. It was really boring. And people who like love that show, like not a lot of people defend that season. It has some like okay stuff in it, but yeah, we're watching that and we're like almost done with season 3, and season 3 is just like so good.
Nice.
That's where they finally get more into it's like more globe trotting, and just feels a lot more in spirit with like the Last Airbender and the villain.
Sure.
Like, super cool, but yeah, if you ever decide to watch it,
I want to at some point.
legit, just skip season 2. Like seriously, look up a plot synopsis of what happens in season 2 and just skip it.
All right.
Because they barely even acknowledge what happens in season 2.
I've been
afterwards.
I've been thinking about rewatching Last Airbender, so maybe I'll rewatch that and then I'll go into Korrah.
That's what we did, and it's honestly really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Korrah is great. Some people are like, that show sucks, but I genuinely think, aside from season 2, I still like Last Airbender a lot more. But Korrah's got a lot of great stuff, and outside of season 2, the animation's great, and it's very unique. Like it's not trying to just do Last Airbender again. It's an incredibly unique setting, and they evolve the world in an interesting way, and some of the characters from Last Airbender show up in it or are older, they flash back to it, but they don't like overshadow or overtake like the new characters. They're just kind of there, which is cool, and it's a really good show. I think you should give it a chance for sure.
One of these days I will.
You should.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm watching. I'm doing that, and I'm playing Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, which is apparently the worst Final Fantasy game for a lot of people, but I'm a contrarian, so I think it's cool so
That's
far.
the new one? That's the new one that's out? Or?
No, it's an old one. It's like from the PS3.
Which number did you say?
The newest one is 16.
No, the one that you just said?
Oh, 13. This is 13, yeah.
I don't know. I'm too old for this.
Yeah, I've been playing through the Final Fantasy 13 games because they were really controversial, and I played the first one like halfway through, like 9 years ago. And I was like, this is the worst game ever made, because I heard a YouTuber talk about how it was the worst game ever made. So I was just like, oh yeah,
He must be right.
So I just like played it with that mindset and was like, this sucks. And
He's got a following and I don't. So
Yeah.
he must be right.
Literally, everyone just hated on those games, so I was just like, I agree with it. But I wanted to replay them because I'm trying to play every Final Fantasy game, mainline at least. And I was like, I need to give these another fair shake. And 13 still has a lot of problems, and it's like a C tier. Like, it's fine. It's pretty good. It's got some cool stuff, but I didn't think it was bad. I kind of thought it was some cool stuff, and the music's amazing. And then 13-2, everyone said that one was like way better. It fixes a lot of stuff, dude. But I thought it was a little worse, a little more boring. And now the one that everyone says is absolutely the worst and is terrible garbage, which is Lightning Returns, which is like the third in the trilogy, I think is kind of awesome. So I'm like, do I just want to like disagree with everyone?
Yeah, you like to like bad
I'm like playing
things.
it. I'm like, this game's just kind of fun. Like I'm not bored like I was in the last one. So I don't know, something's wrong with me. So rewatching Korrah and playing Final Fantasy 13 games.
Nice.
And I'm almost done, and I can't wait to move on to like play a new game that's like really good and not just like okay, because these games aren't anything. They're like fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I can't wait to play a Final Fantasy game that I really like again. Because I've been playing the 13 games for like a couple months now, and I'm like, I'm kind of over it. But
well, just move on.
I need to beat it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I do like Lightning Returns, but
guess
like the last two were kind of the last one was a slog.
You don't need to beat it.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
I only need to play 1, 2, 3, and 5, and then I'll have played every single mainline entry.
I believe in
excluding the MMOs, which is 11 and 14, but we don't count those.
Oh, okay.
I know you know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Why are you just saying a bunch of numbers?
MMO.
But yeah, so
I haven't been really playing any games lately.
That's okay.
I know I should.
The new Spider-Man game comes out Friday.
Oh.
It's only on PS4 though.
I want to. Oh, what?
I think is it on PS4?
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
Frick it all.
But I'm doing a game share thing with one of my pals, and so whenever we want a new game, we just split it, and then I can sign onto his account and download it on my console, and then we can both play it.
Well, that's really cool.
So
it's really cool to have a PS5 to be rich.
They're pretty easy to get now.
Yeah, I mean,
they're releasing the slim model. It's smaller.
I'm a slim model.
Get the disc though. Don't get the stupid disc.
Oh no, yeah, I don't. I really don't ever buy digital unless it's like some sort of like stupid multiplayer game.
Yeah, I only do digital.
I got Fall Guys.
I'll only do
PS4.
digital if it's free, if it's like like an online thing. If it's a game I just kind of want to play, but I don't like if it's something I'm not like I need the physical edition, but I just want to get it, or if I like really want to get it at midnight, but I don't want to go somewhere in person to get it.
Right.
Like I've done digital. Like I got Spider-Man 2 digitally because I'm able to get it half off if my friend just gets it digitally and we split the price.
Right.
So
that's cool.
I'm pretty excited to play that. Reviews came out. It looks good.
Yeah.
I mean the first one's good, so obviously this one will just be better probably. So
I'm really excited because I don't know if I talked about it on the show before, but Firefly Studios, the creators of Stronghold, is releasing a definitive edition.
Did that come out
of
yet?
Stronghold?
When does it come out?
I think like next month.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, I remember you showed that to me last time I was here.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. For those of you who don't know, you guys who've been longtime fans of the show would know that Stronghold, as weird of a selection it is my #1 favorite game. And
it's a cool choice. It's a nice, unique choice. You're not like, my favorite game of all time is like Ocarina of Time.
Right, yeah.
Or Grand Theft Auto.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Even though Red Dead 2 is...
Nothing wrong with Ocarina of Time being your favorite game. That game's a masterpiece.
Right, yeah. But
just
I understand that
it's a nice, unique choice.
It's very obscure, you know, even though at the time it was like a good competitor to like Age of Empires.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shame that Stronghold didn't become as popular as Age of Empires, but it's got its strong following, and I'm glad that Firefly Studios has still been making games, and they're just kind of like remastering Stronghold. I think they use like Unreal Engine to just like give it a more kind of updated look.
Yeah.
From what it seems, they're not really changing the gameplay or really anything.
Yeah, it's just
like
a nice
that.
visual, like kind of remastering.
Yeah,
I remember you showed me it didn't look that different, but I urge people who see remasters and they're like, "Oh, it doesn't look that different." Like, play the original, try to play it on an HD TV, and laugh at how many pixels you can see.
Yeah,
and then play a remaster and realize how, it doesn't look different. It just looks how you think it always looked.
I think from what I've seen of it, I think the definitive edition is pretty significantly different.
Yeah.
But like not so much that it's like it's not even the same game.
Yeah.
It's just kind of updated, but like still true to the original game.
Yeah, they're just polishing the visuals a lot.
Yeah. And it's like it's gonna be like an updated soundtrack. Well, not like updated, but like new remastered soundtrack.
Yeah,
which is great because the soundtrack is like my favorite game soundtrack of all time.
Yeah,
and they apparently got the same old voice actors to redo their lines and such.
Nice.
and like
That's cool.
with like updated animations on that. And also, which I'm super intrigued, there's a new campaign that's like that like takes place after the original story campaign, which I always loved. I love the story campaign in the original game. It's so charming, but like pretty good, pretty well written, kind of basic in a way, but still good.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious, like, what it's going to be like, because I'm pretty sure the story is supposed to take place after what happens in the original story. So I'm interested to see what that'll look like. Thing is, I won't be able to play it until I've been meaning to get like a new gaming PC.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's going to be a version for Mac, which is fine. I wouldn't really
Yeah,
want to play it on Mac.
I guess worst case, you could just download you could try to like get a Windows emulator somehow.
I've done that before, and maybe I just don't think that games play as well on Macs. But
if they make a specific Mac version, it would be fine. But that's pretty rare.
Yeah,
honestly, Mac gets pretty shafted with game releases.
Yeah, I mean, understandably.
Yeah,
so
it's just not what that's. They put Death Stranding on Mac for some reason.
Oh gosh,
so that's cool.
That's gotta run great.
It probably does. I mean, if they optimized it well enough, I'm sure it's on a good.
Are
Mac
you
at
gaming
least.
on a Chromebook?
God,
yeah.
God, I love Death Stranding. The game is so good.
I keep getting those ads. Like, Google is like trying so hard to be cool.
Yeah, they are.
They're like, you can game on our laptops. Like, what? Never gonna get it.
You can game on my face, bro. Let me tell you.
Dang, dude.
Game I'm looking forward to is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
God. Stop talking about Final Fantasy.
I can't. It's the only thing I do anymore. The sequel to 7 Remake is coming out. I'm beyond excited for that. I replayed the original 7 recently, so I'm just like, oh my god. It's just the coolest. In terms of like things being remade, like I think the 7 Remake is like the most unique approach to remaking something like I've seen in anything ever.
I've heard tell.
I'm not even going to explain why, because it would just be annoying to listen to, but it's really cool.
You'd have to explain the whole plot of all the Final
It's
Fantasies.
like a remake, but it's also technically a sequel, and it's all this new. It's really cool. It's way more exciting.
I think you've explained it to me before.
Yeah, it's more exciting than just remaking something one-to-one. You know what's going to happen. It's like it's still everything from the originals there. It still is technically just a remake of it, but there's like all this like implied new stuff, and it's so interesting and it's exciting. I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? I'm not just like, yeah, this character is going to die. I know what's going to happen, and it would still be fun, but it's cool to have new stuff to be excited for.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that Spider-Man 2, I'm not like horrifically excited for that, but I think it's gonna be fun. I wouldn't buy it if I wasn't getting it like half off.
I would. I mean, if I hear good stuff about it, because I know
it's getting like I think a 91 Metacritic right now or something.
Okay.
Which is the first time Insomniac has broken like into the 90s for Metacritic.
Nice.
Which is really cool for them. So.
Because this is a sequel to
yeah, it's just
the Amazing Spider-Man game, right?
Not the Amazing.
Not Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, it just takes place after the Miles Morales DLC.
Okay.
It's just a sequel to the
See,
first
that's the
game.
thing, is that I heard that the Miles Morales DLC was broken.
No,
it wasn't. Okay, maybe it was broken.
It was great. The Miles Morales DLC is awesome.
I think it was just YMS.
The story's not as good. It's
Okay.
like it's fine. Like the story was good, but it's shorter. You know, it just was a little more like quick paced. But Miles is they made Miles a really cool character. But the game itself, I thought, was like mechanically just felt better.
I think it was just YMS on his playthrough.
Yeah,
because he breaks every game that.
Yeah,
he
I didn't have a
plays.
single glitch playing it. I mean, I'm sure there are some, but no, it was good.
Okay, then it was just that then.
Yeah, I feel like it was as like polished as the main game.
Okay, cool.
Which
then
probably wasn't perfect either, but
I'll definitely check out the new one then, because
it looks sick. I mean, Venom's in it.
The first game
you can
was
switch between Miles and Peter like at will, kind of like
cool.
GTA 5.
Just
As a
do I get
wingsuit,
to
so
play
you can-
Mary Jane in this one?
Apparently, yeah, you do.
Oh, great.
So I'm kind of annoyed about that. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, man,
that was my least favorite
Someone was
part of
like,
the
yeah, they
game.
brought back the Mary Jane stealth missions, and I was like, why?
Yeah, why? Why would you
I was
want
like,
to?
like that's fine. Like have some vary the gameplay, have us do something different, but like just make it fun.
Yeah, no one wants to
make her stealth sections fun at least. This is boring, but
yeah.
Other
than that, the first Spider-Man game was really fun.
Yeah, it's
for me.
awesome.
So I'm looking forward to that.
And this one they added like a different section of New York, so like the map is like a lot bigger now too. And
nice.
I looked at a comparison of like the street, and like there's just so much traffic, and it just looks like it's pretty wild looking, like visually.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for it. It'll be fun. Try it out. Yeah, I don't really like. I don't know. This is maybe gonna be like a really random tangent. I feel like you might be able to relate a little bit because you played stuff like Spyro, but I still think PlayStation makes cool games like Spider-Man, like they're exclusives, like the Sony IPs. Like Spyro is owned by like Microsoft now, which is really weird. Because they bought Activision. Because they bought Activision, and Spyro was under Activision. But like back then, like Spyro was like a PlayStation mascot,
right?
And so in the way that what PlayStation IP used to be, like they still make cool stuff now. I think Last of Us is fine. I thought 2 was like really interesting. Still love the first one. I actually do like 2 quite a bit. Like Uncharted, whatever. Is fun. But I just feel like PlayStation games now are so homogenized. Like they're all really similar. They're all like have the same camera angle behind the character, and they're all like narrative driven, like semi-open world games in some way, or not all of them. Like Last of Us 2 is not open world, but you know what I mean. Like they all just have this like similar vibe. Like even Ghost of Tsushima, it was like a really fun game, but it's like
they
open
just
world,
feel the same.
Has this like over the shoulder kind of camera. God of War, like they all have the same camera angle behind the character, and they all have like some kind of arbitrary climbing mechanic, and they're all very like narrative focused, and it's like fine, but they've just kind of resorted. And Spider-Man is kind of an exception. It's like a superhero game. It has a much different vibe than those, so it's not like
in Spider-Man you get
these
to
are all
swing.
good games, but like I didn't really like the new God of Wars that much.
That's illegal to say.
I think Horizon Zero Dawn games, those are like okay, they're pretty fun. But they used to do stuff like they used to make like Spyro and Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper. I mean, even back then, like Final Fantasy VII was like the PlayStation exclusive, and that was like they were just their platform was so interesting, and they made a lot of unique games like Boku no Natsu Yasumi, like Action Man talked about. Like it's a game where you play as a boy on summer vacation, and you just kind of walk around and do stuff. And, or like Katamari Damacy was like these PS2 games. Tulip. They were just the PlayStation. I don't know if Tulip was PlayStation exclusive, but I've only seen it on PS2. But I just feel like PlayStation games used to be so different. And even Sony Japan, like the developer, like the studio that like published like From Software developed it, but like Sony Japan that was the studio that like kind of published and put out stuff like Shadow of the Colossus, Last Guardian, Bloodborne.
Right.
They put that place, like they erased it from existence. They like I don't know what, they just put it out of business basically. They're like Sony Japan is no more, so they don't exist anymore. And now they're all just like, we're gonna focus on our brands all having a similar vibe, and it's just kind of sad. I'm like, Sony used to be like really, I used to hold Sony IP on an equal level as Nintendo in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm excited for Spider-Man 2, but like, man, like we're never going to get another. I mean, now we're definitely never going to get another Spyro because Xbox isn't going to make a Spyro game, but I mean, they could, but like if they make a new Spyro game, it's going to be Xbox exclusive now. And I'm like, I'm not going to spend $300.
Wait, Microsoft owning Spyro is a recent thing?
Yeah, they recently confirmed a purchase for Activision, and Activision owns a ton of IP, and Crash Bandicoot and Spyro are under that.
Oh, okay.
Activision.
I thought this
so
was
if they
like
ever,
before...
so if a new Spyro, if Spyro 4 hypothetically ever gets made, it's going to be an Xbox exclusive probably. And I'm like, you know, that's fine. Like, but I'm not gonna buy an Xbox just to play Spyro. So like, realistically, unless Xbox.
That
Sony.
would be like the
unless
one
they
thing
suddenly
that
have
would
like
make
20
me-
games that are only on Xbox I really want to play. I'm not going to really spend the money on it at this point because I already got a PlayStation. So it's a little like annoying. I'm like,
Yeah.
the gaming world has kind of become all about like companies buying other companies and stuff, and it's a little annoying. Now everyone's like, "Oh, Sony needs to buy Square Enix now." I'm like, "No, I don't want it to be like just Sony and Microsoft purchasing a bunch of companies and hoarding them." I'm like, it's kind of lame.
Monopolizing. Yeah, that's well.
I mean,
if
there's a
there
huge
were
problem, like that's why Banjo-Kazooie games stopped happening because Microsoft bought Rareware like way back in the day, and then
right.
the developers like they couldn't make it, and there's like a fighting game series called Killer Instinct that's really popular, and they were like, yeah, we have the IP, we just don't have a studio that knows how to make fighting games, so like that IP is just dormant and dead.
Yeah,
it's just like lame, you know.
I hope that they, because there's been rumors about a new Spyro game from the people who made the Reignited trilogy.
Yeah, there was
the
even
Toys for Bob.
There was in Crash 4 concept art, like there was like a tease for like Spyro 4 in it or something.
Yeah, it's like a.
So there's always been like this rumor, but then Toys for Bob got contracted onto making Call of Duty for a while, but I think they're done with that now.
Right.
So they might be able to make something, but it's like if they make it now, like it's not going to be on PlayStation unless Microsoft just decides like they're okay with it being on other systems.
I hope so.
Like
It'd
Psychonauts 2.
be so weird to play a Spyro game on an Xbox.
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, they've technically been on X, like Hero's Tale. It was on PS2, but I think that was also on Xbox and GameCube. So like Spyro was really only PlayStation exclusive on the PS1, but it's hard to break the association.
Yeah,
like
because I've never played a Spyro game on anything else.
Like I think
except for their game, there were some Game Boy Advance games
Yeah.
that they did, and I played a couple of those.
Those were good. Season of Fire and Flame.
Yeah,
Season of Flame is so good.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember.
Those are
a
like
whole lot,
genuinely
but it was
like
pretty good.
impressively well executed Spyro games for like the Game Boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really weird. Like I like playing Metal Gear or Final Fantasy or like Crash on an Xbox system. Just like you can, but it's just like weird.
Yeah.
It's like uncanny. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like wrong.
To me, it's like it'd be like if suddenly Zelda was on PlayStation. I'm like, what?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah.
And it's too bad because this year was actually the 25th. I think it was the 25th anniversary of Spyro.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why everyone was like thinking that maybe there would be a new game announced.
They'll probably I don't know. They're probably gonna make another Crash game because no one cares about Spyro anymore except us.
No, they
Don't
like
worry,
made this.
they'll put Spyro in like Fortnite or something.
There's this cool on the 25th anniversary. They made this post on. I saw it on Instagram, but it was like just a compilation of all these people like filming themselves, like some people who were involved in the making of the game, and some people who were just big fans being like, hey, Spyro, happy 25th. First one, there was Stuart Copeland.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, hey man, it was so awesome to make
they
the
finally
music.
put the music on Spotify again.
Yeah.
And they it doesn't have really awkward album art this
right
time.
Yeah,
what was up with that, dude?
I think it's probably like
it was some like fan art, and it was very like it just gave off fetish. I don't know how to
like scaly.
Like he had like his
kind of stuff.
Giant feet like facing. It was just weird. Like it was like fine. It was like well drawn, but it was just like it just gave off like furry art. I don't know.
They probably did find it like
which
off
like
of Deviant
do your
Art or
thing.
something.
I was just surprised that they put that as like the official release under Stuart Copeland, and he used that.
I wonder if it was just Stuart Copeland. He just kind of like Googled Spyro art, and he was like, "Yeah, just use that."
Yeah. I remember they commissioned someone for it, but I remember someone sent it to me, and you know how like Spotify, if you like text someone that, like the album art preview will pop up.
Right, yeah.
Remember someone just texted it to me and was like, and they just sent that, but they didn't say anything yet. So I just thought they sent me this weird fan art of Spyro, and I was like, what?
Thanks,
I was like,
bro.
super confused for a second, and then they were like,
check this out.
And then they're like,
Isn't this cool?
they're like, yo, he put the soundtrack on Spotify, and I was like, oh, that's what that is. But now it's just like some normal art.
Yeah, something more official.
I think it's just like the box art.
I was jamming it for a while actually. I like put the whole the whole album on my monthly playlist.
Nice.
And yeah.
Yeah, they just use it's just the box art of like the first game.
Yeah.
Is it only the first game, or is it like from all 3 games?
It's all 3 of them.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's just called Spyro.
Spyro.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool.
Spyro deserves.
I love Spyro, man.
love. Yeah.
Those games are so cool.
Yeah. I wish he was real.
When I was a kid, I would like pretend that Spyro was like my imaginary friend, and he would like fly along around me all the time.
Oh, dude, I did stuff like that too. Not for Spyro.
Or if I was like really young, like it was PlayStation 1. I'm like single digits age, like 8 or 9. But I'd be in the bath and I'd like swim, and I'd pretend I was like, in the intro level of 2 where you're like swimming underwater.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I'm like Spyro swimming underwater. I got in a fight with a kid at school over who was a bigger Spyro fan in the lunchroom. I was like, no, I'm a bigger Spyro fan.
Dude, I should have been there.
I was like, dude, Spyro is my obsession. Like from the age of like 7 to 10, however old I was.
Yeah, same.
And I thought Enter the Dragonfly was amazing when it came out.
I never played that one.
It's pretty horrible, but
I actually haven't played any of the games outside of the original trilogy and
a
couple of the Game Boy Advance games. Because I didn't own any of those consoles.
The only one I think that's worth playing, out of curiosity, Enter the Dragonfly is kind of interesting. It's really short. It's just like it doesn't run well. It runs like a low frame rate, and it's just a worse version of the PS1 games. It's really not good, but it's like fine.
Did you ever play any of the Legend of Spyro games?
I tried to play the first one and I got so bored.
Okay.
It's I think Elijah Wood is an incredible choice to voice Spyro, but
yeah, that's right.
It is so hard to get through, and I heard the second one is way worse, and then the third one's apparently actually pretty good. But I'm like, I can't. But yeah, those were good.
We should stop talking about Spyro.
Yeah, we should save it.
Yeah,
perhaps.
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about that.
But the last thing I'll say about that is, I've only played a little bit of it. I really want to finish it, and I own it. But the only other one I think that is actually like considered really good and worth playing is Hero's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a pretty traditional Spyro game, but like a little more like open world.
Okay.
But yeah, original trilogy and Hero's Tale, and maybe Season of Flame on Game Boy Advance. Those are like that's all you need. That's all you need.
Oh yeah, and also, do you remember when McDonald's used to have handheld video games? As
Yeah,
their
the little
toys?
those like calculator games, basically.
Yeah,
like
they did some for Spyro and Crash.
I had those.
I think I still have them.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I definitely don't have. My dad probably threw them away at some point, but I had those.
I think they probably still work.
I thought they were so sick.
There was this one that was actually really cool where it was you're Spyro and you're like that's that. No. You're like going through these, it's almost like, so it's not 3D, but it's kind of like you're in a 3D perspective of going through these hallways.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, because it's like first person view, and you just like go through the hallways, and like the hallways are outlined by like lines, so it's like black and white kind of lines, and you just go through the hallways, and you enter into these doors, and I think it's either going to be an enemy or a gem.
Yeah.
And if it's an enemy, you have to be fast and kill them. And then you just keep going until you get the right amount of gems. And like I thought that was so cool for it just being like this
like
tiny
those crappy
handheld,
little like calculator looking games.
It was really cool and really
weirdly in depth for like something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Because usually it's just like move left and right and dodge the cars.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but that one was so cool. So those were also official Spyro canon games.
Yeah. Yeah. We gotta do a Spyro episode.
We're going to. I mean, we're a little bit out of. I guess out of order right now, but because remember I sent you those 2 ideas that I had for future episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to do that next, or the other idea that I had?
We could do the other one first. I'm wondering if I want to even attempt to like replay them at all. I mean, I don't think I need to.
The most I was gonna do was like play an hour of each of them.
Yeah.
And not like try
'Cause
to
I've played
beat
them
or
all like
anything.
at least 5 times.
Yeah,
you
same.
know?
I just
plus the remakes like twice.
Yeah, I would probably just play them to like just get just remind myself of the general feel of each game.
I want to replay the PS1 versions really bad because I like the remakes a lot, but I prefer the visuals of the PS1 game because I'm biased, but I like the color palette more in the original too.
Yeah.
And I love PS1 aesthetic.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so charming to me. But the remakes are great. Like,
yeah, as remakes go, they're really
really
good.
gorgeous looking.
Yeah.
And that makes the first game like pretty tolerable because the first game's pretty rough on PS1, and the voice actor for Spyro sucks on that one.
So it's just Tom Kenny. Though.
Tom Kenny wasn't the first voice.
What?
No, he didn't voice him until 2, and then he was Spyro permanently after that. But the first game was someone else, and he sounded horrible.
You're lying.
No,
I don't believe you.
He sounds really bad.
He kind of sounds like this.
Well, yeah, he's like a little.
I don't think it's Tom Kenny in the first game though. I don't think it is. There's no way. Also, I might have to go soon. Do you want to?
Well, okay, yeah, we'll wrap up.
Do you want to wrap this up or continue it and make it much longer at some point?
Well, we're already like over 2 hours.
Oh, okay, yeah,
right
no,
now.
that's fine.
So I think now.
I think we had a pretty good.
It's a pretty good episode for talking about.
It was
nothing.
a YouTube catch up. What are we excited for in Spyro?
Who did the voice of Spyro in Spyro the Dragon?
I was gonna say Tom Kenny.
From Wikipedia, Spyro was originally voiced by Carlos Alazraqui in Spyro the Dragon.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, he sounds bad in the first game.
That
Like,
just
no offense to that
shatters
guy. Oh yeah, they
my
also.
entire
I
universe.
guess speaking of voice actors, they announced the voice of. This will be the last thing I guess I talk about before we wrap up. Just speaking of voice acting, they announced the new voice of Mario.
Oh yeah,
which is wild because in terms of like video games, like voicing Mario, this is only the second person to like be the main voice actor for him now.
That's so crazy.
Like people have voiced him in like movies or spin-off things, but like Charles Martinet has voiced Mario since like they first gave him a voice in like video games.
Yeah.
And he retired, and I guess he's still like involved or whatever. But it's this guy, I think his name's Kevin Afghan, and I looked up his IMDb because I was curious, and he really has not voice acted that much. He voiced in like he voiced a character in that Genshin Impact game and like 2 other things that were like really obscure. And based on he's voicing him for that Mario Wonder game that's coming out, and he sounds really good. But I wanted to bring that up because I think it's awesome. I think it's so cool that they just got a voice actor that they thought fit, but he had like hardly any experience.
Yeah, good for him.
I think that's super cool.
He's this
because
nobody guy is literally voicing the most iconic video game character of all time.
It's like they clearly just had auditions and just picked the person they thought was the best, like just for that role. And again, it's not like dramatic voice acting. He's just doing like whoopee yowie zowie whippy. But it's just cool to me. It's like imagine you just got into voice acting, you've only done a few roles, and then suddenly you're Mario. And it's like that's not I don't think that's exactly a demanding performance, but that's like I remember I found his account when it announced he had like 300 followers or something, and now he has like probably 100,000 or something. It's like, man, dude, he's like set for life now.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming he's going to voice him in like every game from now on. I don't think it's just for this new game coming out, but
Right.
I just think that's so cool that Nintendo just hired like a voice actor. They weren't like, let's get like a really well-established voice actor that's voiced 100,000 things and it has plenty of work already. They like got someone who was pretty new, and they just wanted to give this guy like a shot and like give him a whole career.
Yeah.
I just respect that a lot because we're in such an age where voice acting is like, which like I don't always hate it. Like Ghibli movies is just like celebrities for voice actors, but it's cool. Like it works for those, you know. I'm not always like against that, but especially out of voice acting games, it's like it's always going to be like Troy Baker or It's always like the same few voice actors a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat had like
Tom
Megan
Kenny.
Fox voice a character, and she's horrible. The new Mortal Kombat game. It's a lot of talented voice actors. Like Jennifer Hale is great, but they voice acted like everything.
Yeah.
Like so much, and I think it's awesome they didn't get someone that everyone would know.
I wonder
because
is
they're not
he-
casting Mario to be like, look at our actor. Because Charles Martinet was just like some random voice actor.
Yeah.
And I just like that they're doing that again. I respect that a
Will
lot.
Will he also be voicing all the other characters that Charles Martinet did,
He-
like Wario, Luigi, and Waluigi?
So for the game, he's voicing Mario and Luigi in it.
Okay.
We don't know if he's going to voice like Wario and Waluigi and everything else, but it seems like he probably will because he's also voicing Luigi. Because the game,
Yeah.
it's like Mario, Luigi, Toad, and like Peach and Daisy.
Yeah.
So it's like he's just voicing Mario and Luigi in that. So I assume that means he'll probably voice the others if need be. I mean, I feel like there's a new like WarioWare game coming out. And it sounds like he's not Charles Martinet, so I don't know if it's the same guy or if they got someone else. But yeah, I just thought that was cool. You know, they weren't like,
But-
let's just get a well-established voice actor that people will recognize and be excited about.
But why not? What's wrong with Chris Pratt?
Yeah, everyone. Some people were legit convinced he was gonna voice him in the games now. And I'm like, come on, people, like that, like. I'm like,
I
Nintendo
would
did
quit
not
Nintendo.
cast Chris Pratt. Illumination did, you know. And that's fine. It was an Illumination.
He's so
movie,
cool.
you know.
If they did fire,
Yeah,
if they did hire Chris Pratt, I would quit Nintendo.
Yeah.
Not that I mean, I don't own any Nintendo stuff, and nothing against Chris Pratt. I
He's
just think he's a
fine.
very poor choice for Mario.
I just like that they got someone that fit the character, you know, and they didn't just base it off of like an established career already. They just clearly had auditions and liked this one guy the most.
Right. Yeah.
And even though he didn't voice a billion characters already, it's just cool to see like a new person can get a shot like that still.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's really rare. Like voice acting, casting for so many companies is like making sure it's someone who's recognizable and or just a celebrity. And I'm like, man, they got this random dude to voice Mario. Like Mario. And people like, it's not like that's like a dramatic performance or you don't even like say words necessarily. You say like blurbs and sounds.
Right.
But Charles Martinet became so beloved because of that.
Yeah.
And like people like really just liked that guy and he went
He's
to
a cool
fan meet.
guy.
Yeah, he's super nice. I mean, he even was just a good voice actor. He voiced Parthenax, whatever his name is, in Skyrim, like a dragon with a really deep growly voice. And I'm like,
Ooh.
that's Mario. It's like that dude was just a good voice actor too.
Mamma mia.
There's something about that, but yeah, I don't know. I just thought that
Good,
was
good for you, random guy who no one has ever heard of. Literally no one.
I mean,
Good for you.
basically, yeah, he really had,
No one has
he
ever
had, like,
cared
a few
about
hundred
you before.
followers on Twitter and stuff, and yeah, he clearly like was just some dude.
If you weren't Mario, no one would care about you.
Yeah. Nah.
Sorry, I'm just being like, just unexpectedly mean to
How
him
dare
for
you.
no reason.
But yeah, I respect it. It's
Good for
cool.
him, random guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Mr. Mario.
Mr. Kevin.
Cool. All right, well, we should
Let's wrap it.
Wrap it up. Believe it's my turn for a recommendation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So I'm gonna recommend some music. We didn't talk this whole episode. We didn't talk anything about music.
Oh, true. I haven't really been listening to a lot of new music.
I've been listening to a lot of music.
Yeah.
A lot of really great new releases. But I'm not going to talk about any of that because I kind of want to save that for our top 10 list.
Yeah.
But a new discovery that I've made that I've been getting into, and I don't know if you know about them or not, but I came across a live session of theirs that they did on KEXP, and they're really cool. It's this band called Squid. You ever heard of them?
I don't think so.
They're this band from, I think they're from the UK, I believe. And they're like a very close-ish cousin to like Black Country New Road.
Oh, okay.
Sort of. just very like experimental. If you go to their Spotify bio, it says, I think it says anxiety rock.
Nice.
And it's cool because like the drummer is their vocalist.
Oh, I like that.
And he's a really good vocalist, but like he just like goes crazy. It was like, boy, races and that kind of stuff. But he's also a good singer too. But
yeah,
like
very like performative.
Right, yeah, exactly. And their album from 2021 I've been really getting into, called Bright Green Field. And they have a new album from this year that I haven't really listened to yet, but I'm excited to get into it and probably be in my top 10 list.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're super talented guys, you know, very, like I said, very experimental. You know, they try it's like a good fusion of like rock and jazz and kind of like math rocky sort of, and just like the kind of like really weird kind of experimental that I like. That's very similar to like Black Country New Road's first
very
album.
like musically complex.
Yeah, exactly. And their KXP session is awesome. Like, I had no idea who they were, and I watched the whole thing, and they're just really fun to watch and really fun to listen to. So yeah, the band's called Squid, and their album Bright Green Field. Go check it out.
A boy races in our dreams at night. A boy races in our dreams at night. A boy races in our dreams at night. A boy racing, did you see that light?
Yeah,
So
sounds good. Sounds sick.
Yeah, I think you would really like them. You should.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Check them out.
Definitely.
Okay, so we kind of already teased about. We should just go ahead and say like what we have planned for the next 2 episodes.
Yeah,
basically.
we're so. Our next episode's probably gonna be it's technically like a top 10, but it's for a year that we had missed apparently.
Yeah. So here's my explanation for this, because it was my idea that I shot to Mitchell to see if he liked it. So our last Lost episode that we did, it was basically our favorite music from the year 2017. And the first official top 10 albums of the year that we did for Podwood Forecast was for the year 2019. We don't have an episode where we share our favorite albums of 2018.
That was a pretty good year.
Yeah, it was a great year.
So we were going to basically go back and recap our favorite 2018 albums.
Yeah, we've never done this before, but I think it would be fun.
Yeah.
It's like a sort of fun little retrospective kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like, who knows? Like, because I still need to like go back and listen to a lot of the music from that year. And
yeah, I do too.
I've probably changed my opinion. I still have my list that I made from that year somewhere. So I'm interested to see how both of us, like how maybe our tastes have changed.
Yeah.
If we like different albums.
Or probably listen to stuff from there like post 2018 and have stuff in there that I wouldn't have at the time.
Yeah, like maybe bands that we didn't even know about at the time. So yeah, that's what we're going to do for our next episode. I'm really excited about that.
And then we're going to talk about the Spyro trilogy.
We're going to talk about the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spyro trilogy will be after that.
Yeah. Which
so we clearly got into it now. It's like we both love those games.
It's like we got to stop.
So yeah, we want to reflect on those.
Yeah, we'll talk about the original trilogy, and I think we'll also talk about the Reignited trilogy and just kind of like compare them.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun. We've talked, like, aside from this episode, I know I talked about Spyro in our favorite video games episode, but we clearly
haven't gone in depth really.
Right, yeah. I think we have a lot to say about, and I think since we're talking about 3 games, that'll fill up a whole episode pretty nicely.
I'm kind of curious what my 10 favorite games episode. I'm almost curious to listen to that.
We actually only did 5.
Oh, 5? Okay.
Yeah, for that
I'm curious
episode.
what I picked and if I would probably change my mind drastically.
Yeah.
On like at least a couple choices.
I've wanted to revisit that, but I just need to. I feel like I need to play more games.
Because like I lately accepted like how much I actually love the first Kingdom Hearts game, and I'm like, I wonder if I was like too embarrassed to put it in my top 5 for that, or if
you didn't have it in your
no,
top
I didn't.
5.
Well, it should be like number 3.
Yeah, I should know because I've listened.
Probably number
to
2 to be honest, but yeah, I think at the time I was like, I like it, but it's like embarrassing. I won't put that, but I'm like, no shame. That's probably like my number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to revisit that.
Yeah, one of these days we might. But for now, be on the lookout for our top 10 albums of 2018 and then our Spyro episode.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about those.
Yeah, me too. It'll be good.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mitchell, what did we learn today? What did you learn today?
I learned that
that little moan.
I learned nothing.
I learned that
I don't even remember what I talked about.
We talked about YouTube a lot.
Oh yeah. I miss the Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah, notice how I didn't even mention him.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Remember one of the first times we met, you made me watch a Nostalgia Critic video?
Yeah.
That was probably your wake-up call.
No, here's the thing. Is that like I knew that Nostalgia Critic was kind of bad and cheesy, but like I still liked a lot of his takes on movies.
Yeah.
And I've kind of come to the conclusion that like his early stuff is pretty decent and it's kind of charming.
Yeah.
But like once they started like doing like all the skits and everything and his wall reviews, like that's I'm off the bandwagon.
It's like, oh fellow, my fellow.
Yeah. Captain, my captain.
Oh captain.
Yeah. But anyways, I guess there's our Nostalgia Critic
there you go.
little thing.
I never watched him ever, so I don't know.
He was my first like movie critic channel that I got into.
That's so funny.
So yeah. It was like, oh wow.
Well, mine was Jeremy Johns, so it's not that much better.
Yeah. Jeremy Johns is probably better than Nostalgia Critic. Although Nostalgia Critic is better in terms of like the memes. Nostalgia Critic has some great memes.
Yeah.
Like the whole like
he's at least like funny
like,
to make fun of.
Yeah. He's got great reactions.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you all for listening, and as always, thank you for watching. Bye. I wish I was dead. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Podwood Forecast. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like for us to give you a shout out on the show, be sure to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And also feel free to look in the show notes for links to our social media at Twitter and Facebook. And as always, stay beautiful, and thanks for listening.